Hello everyone, let's study constitutional and non-constitutional bodies. I will try to remember this technical topic in such a way that it's very easy to recall later. For example, let's first try to remember the articles and the statutory acts relating to this body, and let's from this let's derive the term period and also the composition. So this is the first exercise that we need to do. The second exercise would be to try to understand who appoints and who removes and how is he removed, or the grounds of removal. So these are the two exercises, and the third exercises we are going to do at the last to understand the future employment and reappointment. Got it? Now let's go through the first exercise. First body is election commission. It comes from Article 324. Article 324, therefore its term period would be 6 or 65. 6 or 65. But this composition is not mentioned in the constitution. It's mentioned in Chief Election Commission and Other Election Commissioner Act. The same act also defines the composition of Election Commission of India. What's the composition of Election Commission of India? Hmm. Anup Banerwal's judgment said that a three-member body consisting of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, and Chief Justice of India is the one who is going to recommend the President to appoint this three-member body consisting of Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners. But this CEC 2023 Act, this replaced this position of Chief Justice of India with Union Cabinet Minister nominated by the Prime Minister. Okay, this three-member body consists of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, and Union Cabinet Minister nominated by the Prime Minister. It's going to recommend the President to appoint this three-member body. Okay, now this three-member body is called selection committee. Selection committee. Basically, selection committee gets 5 names from search committee. Search committee consists of Minister of Law and Justice and 2 secretaries. So this search committee is going to recommend 5 names to selection committee. Selection committee may go beyond these 5 names and recommend president to appoint this three-member body consisting of election commissioners and other election commissioners, chief election and other election commissioners. Okay, now you know the composition and the term period. Let's see who appoints and who removes. See, president is the appointing, so obviously we think that the removal must also be done by the president, but wrong. Actually, the removal of election commissioners is similar to judiciary. Matlab, removal of chief election commissioner is similar to Supreme Court judge, whereas removal of other election commissioners, it is done by the president upon recommendation of chief election commissioner. Got it? Removal of CEC is similar to Supreme Court judge, whereas removal of other election commissioner, it is done by the president upon the recommendation of chief election commissioners. Now let's go into UPSC and state PSC, and also let's look into joint state PSC, JSPSC. We call it JSPSC. Okay, Article 315 to 323 of the Indian Constitution talk about UPSC and state PSC. It also says that this to Parliament may by law create a joint state PSC. Therefore, JSPSC would be a statutory body. Okay, when state governments request, Parliament can do that. Article 315 to 323. Therefore, I can say that the term period would be 6 or 65. And also this provision is mentioned in the constitution. For UPSC, the constitution says it's 6 or 65, but for state PSC, it says 6 or 62. The 6 or 62 term period is also the same for the joint state PSC and is also mentioned in the constitution. Got it? 6 or 65 for UPSC, 6 or 62 for state PSC or joint state PSC. Next, we have seen the term period. Now let's see the composition. Composition consists of chairperson and other members. Chairperson and plus other. This other is decided by the president. This is fixed by the president, the number of members, usually 9 to 11. This is the composition. Now let's see appointment and removal. Appointment is done by the president. That means removal is also done by the president. Also remember, removal is okay, but what if I want to resign? So resignation is done to the president because they are central bodies. They usually resign to the president. If they are state bodies, they usually resign to the governor. Okay. What about removal? Resignation is different from removal. If you want to remove chairperson of UPSC, it is the president who can remove based on certain grounds like insolvency or paid employment, matlab office of profit, misbehavior, after Supreme Court inquiry. This is done after Supreme Court inquiry, and whatever the advice that Supreme Court is issuing, it is binding upon the president. Okay, so the usual grounds would be insolvency, office of profit, insolvency, and misbehavior. The same are also applicable to the state PSC. Resignation is to the governor, but the removal is to the is by the president only upon after the Supreme Court inquiry. Qualifications for UPSC and state PSC. One thing is, let's say this is my UPSC. So half of this body must have been in central or state government for 10 years. Similarly, for the state PSC also. So this UPSC, or I mean this half that I'm talking about, this can be from central or state for both, for any like government of India or state for 10 years. It can be either UPSC or state PSC, but he must be serving in the government of India or any state for 10 years. Such person can be eligible to become the member of UPSC board. This is the eligibility for members to serve in the UPSC board. Got it? Shall we see about the salary along with the third exercise, because it's way easy. The same qualifications, removal, everything is applicable also to the Joint State PSC. Let's go to the Finance Commission. Finance Commission. Now, currently, we are having 16th Finance Commission. Who is the chairperson of 16th Finance Commission? Anup, I think he's Arvind Panagaria, right? The chairperson of 16th Finance Commission is Arvind Panagaria. Actually, he is a renowned economist and is a former Niti Aayog vice chairman. Former Niti Aayog vice chairman. He became the chairperson of 16th Finance Commission, which will be constituted from April 1st, 2026 to 2031. Do you remember this term period is for 5? No, you can see that this is for 5 years, but the previous Finance Commission it was for 6 years. That means from this we can say that this term period was never fixed. Therefore, it is variable. That means this is variable and it is fixed by the president, the term period. Of course, Finance Commission, it's from Article 280. Now, the composition F for 5. 5 matlab total 5 members, chairperson and 4 other members. This is the composition of Finance Commission. One thing, okay, appointment is done by whom? Appointment is done by the president. Therefore, removal must also be by the president. Right? Removal is also by the president. Now, let's see the qualifications. Qualifications, this is very, very important. See, the usual tendency when we write, when we are giving an exam, if the question asks, as per Indian constitution, if a person is of unsound mind, I mean, if a person is of, let's say, something, if a person is of unsound mind, or else if he is an undischarged insolvent, he or she is not qualified to become the member. So if such question comes as per constitution of India, then are you going to take it right? No, because why? See, the usual tendency that candidates giving exam would have is that Article 280 Finance Commission, it's a constitutional body, therefore it must be as per the constitution only. No, it's not as per the constitution. We have already studied the parliament topic. Have we ever came across the term period or the qualifications required or the grounds of removal? No, they were not mentioned anywhere. Therefore, you need to think that this constitutional body has an act, Finance Commission Act of 1951, which talks about qualifications to become the chairperson. So, what are the qualifications? Experience in public affairs. Okay. Next, he or she must be qualified to be a high court judge. Must have knowledge in finance, accounting, uh, economics, and experience in financial matters and administration. High court judge, knowledge, experience. ये होना चाहिए to become the chairperson of Finance Commission. It's given in Finance Commission Act of 1951. Now we have seen UPSC, State PSC, and Election Commission. And you have also seen the removal. Removal is by the president only. But for Election Commission of India, the removal of Chief Election Commissioner is similar to Supreme Court judge. Let's see the other articles. Controller and Auditor General of India. He's an independent constitutional authority under Article 148. Controller and Auditor General, the article is 148, but the term period is not mentioned in this Controller and Auditor General because we have already studied. Therefore, it is, that it's mentioned in CAG Act of 1971, 7 minus 166 or 65. CAG Act of 1971 is something you need to remember for Controller and Auditor General. So, Article 148 talks about Controller and Auditor General, and the term period is mentioned in CAG Act of 1971. Term period is 6 or 65, and he's an independent constitutional authority. So, we are not going to talk about composition. And the removal is similar to Supreme Court judge. For Election Commission of India, Chief Election Commissioner and Controller and Auditor General, the removal is similar to Supreme Court judge. Since we are discussing about CAG, let's try to discuss in depth. See, we have Article 148, 149, 150, etc. Right? So CAG is appointed by the President under his hand and seal, and shall only be removed from the manner similar to Supreme Court judge. This is Article 148. Article 149, salary and allowances of Controller and Auditor General. Are we not talking about Controller and Auditor General? Yeah. Did I tell something wrong? Okay, leave it. So CAG shall be appointed by the President and removal is similar to Supreme Court judge, Article 148. 149, salary and allowances are charged expenditure. Salary and allowances of CAG is charged expenditure, and this CAG shall not hold any office after his retirement. There is no future employment for CAG because he is someone who works very closely with the Parliament. Therefore, he is someone who works very closely with the Parliament related to auditing works. Therefore, his removal, he has no future employment. Let's see this later. We have seen Article 148, Article 149. Now what? Actually, in Article 114, actually no. Article 148 says that, what does it say? Controller and Auditor General shall be appointed by the President and removal is similar to Supreme Court judge. Article 149, wait, this same article also says that the expenditure of CAG shall be charged upon Consolidated Fund of India, so it's a charged expenditure. So salary, it's charged expenditure on the Consolidated Fund of India. And next, Article 149, it talks about a Parliament may by law. Therefore, it passed the CAG Act of 1971. CAG Act of 1971, from which we are saying that 7 minus 1, 6 years is the term period. 6 or 65 is the term period for CAG. Also, it talks about some of the duties and powers of Controller and Auditor General. What are the duties of Controller and Auditor General? To compile and prepare accounts of union and state. To compile and prepare accounts of union and state, and to audit receipts and expenditure. Receipts and expenditure of the union and states. We have seen account audits and also audits of public corporations and government companies, matlab PSUs. Audits of public corporations and government companies. What next? Audits of all transactions from Consolidated Fund of India, public accounts of India, and Contingency Fund of India. We have Article 266, 267, right? So audits of all transactions from Consolidated Fund of India, PSE and CFI, they are all regulated by the Controller and Auditor General. Other audits such as audits के ऊपर इतना सारा है. Where shall we write? इसका functions कहाँ पे लिखेंगे? यहाँ पे लिखेंगे. Controller of okay. First, yes. Compile functions के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं हम. To compile and prepare account of union and state. एक तो accounts. To compile and prepare accounts of union and states. To audit receipts and expenditure of union and state, and also to audit public corporations and accounts of public corporations and government companies. Not private, public corporations and government companies. And to audit transactions from Consolidated Fund of India, Contingency Fund of India, and the public accounts of India under Article 266 and 267. And to audit accounts of stores and stocks. Stores and stocks, matlab, example, FCI, central canteen, etc. So stores and stocks, they all come under stores and stocks. Audits of NGOs substantially funded by union or state. Audits of NGOs substantially funded by union or state. So all such accounts and audits, they are regulated by Controller and Auditor General of India. Article 150, so this is under which act? CAG Act of 1971. Controller and Auditor General of 1971 talks about the term period and also the functions of CAG. This is in Article 149, talks about Parliament by law, and that law provides these functions also. What about Article 150? Article 150 says that a president may prescribe the forms of account for union states on the recommendation of CAG. So the forms of accounts are prescribed to the union and states by the president upon the recommendation of CAG. So if the question comes, who recommends accounts for forms of government of India? It's CAG. Who prescribes account for the forms of government of India? Who prescribes? It's the president. There is UPSC plays with words. For example, if the question comes, who prescribes? Prescribes, it's going to be president. But who recommends? It's going to be CAG. Who recommends? Accounts forms. Account forms, matlab, who recommend all these forms of accounts to the government of India? It's the president. But matlab, who prescribes these forms to the government of India? It's president. But who recommends these forms? It's a Controller and Auditor General. One more question. Now I'm asking you, who recommends accounting standards? Accounting standards पूछ रही हूँ अब. Who recommends accounting standards? Standards. This is by an office in CAG only, of course CAG, but there is an office of CAG which is a Government Accounting Standard Advisory Body, GASAB, GASAB, Government Accounting Standard Advisory Body, Government Accounting Standard Advisory Body. It is an office in CAG. It is an office of CAG. So this office, it recommends accounting standards. Now we have seen Article 148, appointment and removal, appointment by the president and removal similar to Supreme Court judge, and also salary charged upon Consolidated Fund of India. Article 149, CAG Act of 1971, which prescribes the functions, and president prescribes on the recommendation of Controller and Auditor General. 149 and 150 talks about this forms, right? We have seen forms of account, it prescribed by president upon recommendation of CAG. 148, appointment and removal. 149, CAG Act of 1971. 150, forms prescribed by the president but recommended by the Controller and Auditor General. Now let's see 151. 151 says that CAG prepares auditing report under Article 151. CAG prepares auditing report and submits to the president. These reports shall be laid before each house of the parliament. Dekhna. CAG prepares report and shall submit to the president. And these reports shall be laid before each house of the parliament, matlab Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. This is in Article 151. CAG prepares report and submit to the president, and this report shall be laid before Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So this report is submitted to Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but there is Public Account Committee. This Public Account Committee examines the audit report submitted by the CAG. It may also summon CAG to understand the technicality and the method adopted by CAG to prepare this audit. The Public Account Committee may summon secretary of the concerned ministry or department to seek the reply. See, this audit report must be dealing with lot of ministries. So the Public Accounts Committee may summon CAG and may also summon secretaries of the concerned ministry or department to seek their reply. Later, this same Account Committee, it prepares a general report that is more technical, right? Therefore, a PSC is going to prepare a general report and submit it to the speaker, on the basis of which debate and discussion is conducted in the House. Got it? In this way, CAG acts as a friendly philosopher and guide to the Public Account Committee. Similarly, for state also, we are going to have the same process. CAG, there is annual audit report submitted by the, there's an annual audit report submitted by the CAG to the governor, and the governor must be submitted to the governor, and this report is prepared by the CAG must also be laid before both the houses of the state legislature, state legislative assembly and state legislative council, and that might be scrutinized by the state PSC. The report might be scrutinized by the state PSC. That state PSC might summon the CAG and also Secretary General, any secretaries, concerned secretaries to the ministries or department, and later after scrutinizing the state PSC, can prepare a general report and submit it to the speaker for debate and discussion. Therefore, CAG acts as a friendly philosopher and guide for the Public Account Committee. There is a UPSC question. CAG acts as a friendly philosopher and guide for the Public Account Committee comment. So you need to write all this process. CAG prepares a report and submit it to the president, which shall be laid before both the houses. And of this report shall later be scrutinized by the Public Account Committee. Public Account Committee may summon Control and Auditor General and concerned secretaries of the department to understand the technicality. Later, PSC can prepare a general report and submit it to the speaker for conducting a debate and discussion in the houses. So, as we are talking about audits, shall we also look into what are the different types of audits? See, there are three types of audits. One is regularity audit, second is propriety audit, and the third is performance audit. What is regulatory audit? What is regulatory audit, and what is proprietary audit, and what is performance audit? There is regulatory, proprietary, and performance. Regulatory audit, proprietary audit, and performance audit. Where shall we write? Shall we write it here? Three types of audits. See, we have a lot of place, so let's write it here. These three audits. Regulatory audit. It examines the legal aspect of expenditure shown in the books of account. Okay, it examines the legal aspect of expenditure. Shown in the books of account. For example, the money sanctioned by the government was 1,000 crore. Let's say 1,000 crore. Let's say 10,000 crore. This 10,000 crore is utilized by the department. From this 10,000 crore, let's say 8,000 crore is utilized by the department. So regulatory account simply like say 10,000 crore is sanctioned by the government of India to that particular department, and that particular department used 8,000 crore, let's say, but the rule of labs shows a difference of just 1,000 crore, but it must be 2,000 crores, right? So if there are such kind of violation of rules and regulation, in such scenario, we need to have a regulatory account audit to ensure the regulatory audit is being conducted to understand why there is a difference in the accounts. So that is regulatory audit. It examines the legal aspect of expenditure shown in the books of account. It examines the legal aspect of expenditure shown in the books of accounts. Now, what is proprietary audit? It emphasizes upon the financial aspect. Proprietary account emphasizes upon the financial aspect of expenditure. That is, the money shown in the account was authorized for the purpose. The accounts were finally prepared. Let's say the money sanctioned by the government was 10,000 crore, and but the money spent by the department is 12,000 crore. That means there is a supplementary grant of 2,000 crore. So this disclosure, it's appropriately audited by proprietary audit. These accounts are appropriately maintained as per proprietary audit. Got it? It emphasizes upon the financial aspect of expenditure. That is, the money shown in the account was authorized for which purpose. So such kind of details are shown in proprietary audit, financial audit. A regulatory audit, it is a legal aspect. It examines the legal aspects of expenditure. If there is a rule of lapse, what is the rule of lapse? What is the sanctioned amount and what is the amount utilized? Such kind of audits are done by the regulatory audit. Proprietary, it emphasizes upon the financial extra supplementary grant. If it is there, then it is usually by the proprietary audit. And the third is the performance audit. It examines performance कैसे है, dimensions of efficiency and economy in the expenditure. So it examines the accounts with dimensions of efficiency and economy in the expenditure. It audits it considers it usually does a comparative analysis of Indian practice with international standards. This is a performance audit. For example, 2G spectrum scam and coal scam, etc., they were calculated on the basis of performance audit only. Okay, these are the three types of regulatory audits. Do you know there are certain limitations against CAG also? CAG is definitely doing a lot of work, but there are certain criticisms. First thing is that the work of audit is a post-mortem in nature, and it lose and the losses cannot be recovered. See, let's say CAG is doing audit, right? But still, we have lost 1,000 crore. See, out of the example that we discussed, 10,000 and 8,000 crore, there is a loss of 1,000 crore because only 1,000 crore was shown in the accounts, right? The work of audit is similar to matlab it is post-mortem in nature, and the losses that are done, they cannot be recovered, and there is a feeling that a CAG focuses upon finding the faults rather than appreciating the good practices. Right, there is a pendency of reports at the state government level, and that means the reports are not tabled in the house, in state at the state government level, not at the center. The reports are not filed, not tabled in the houses, and also the CAG reports, they are too lengthy than an economic survey, approximately 1,500 papers. And do you think a public accounts committee can adequately examine such lengthy papers? No. And what other criticisms that I can think of? It defeats the objective of audit. ऑडिट का ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या है? ऑडिट करने के बाद कुछ चेंजेस लेके आना, लेकिन वो पर्पस ही डिफीट हो रही है क्योंकि ये पोस्टमार्टम इन नेचर है. And the accounts of NGOs which are substantially financed by the government are rarely audited by the CAG. This part is actually not done by CAG much. Okay, so basically the criticism is that it's post-mortem in nature, and usually CAG focuses on finding faults. The reports are not filed, not tabled before the houses at the state government level. The files are also too lengthy that a PSC cannot examine. That means it is defeating the objective of the audit, the purpose of audit. And the audit of NGOs, they are not being conducted. They're rarely being audited. These are some of the criticisms of CAG. Therefore, there is a second ARC. It suggested certain reforms, like it says that CAG shall focus on fair evaluation, fault finding must be there, and also CAG must appreciate good practice of the ministry. And CAG must the report of CAG shall be regularly tabled in the parliament as well as the state legislature, not just the parliament. Of course, whatever criticisms are there, definitely these are the suggestions for reforms. What can the other be? The other recommendation is that CAG report shall be given adequate publicity in the media and create large public awareness. The CAG report, it is only the PSC who is going to examine. The second ARC says that it must be given publicity in the social media platform to create public awareness, so that the government is more accountable during the electoral process. And this is democracy, right? Of course, CAG is salary similar to Supreme Court judge, and there is no reappointment or future employment to CAG. Now let's look into Attorney General and Advocate General, Article 76 and 165. देखना 176 के ऊपर 89 ऐड करना, आ जाएगा 165. So Attorney General Article 76 and Advocate General Article 165. 76 you can remember. So Attorney General of State, Advocate General of State. What is the term period? You do know, you read this article, that they work for the pleasure of President. That means they do not have a term period. There is no term period until the President is there. They are going to stay in the office, or if the President removes, they are going to be removed from the office. Number of members, of course, he is just he's a guy. I mean, there is no compositional members. And what are the qualifications? He must be qualified to be a Supreme Court judge, and Advocate General of First State, he must be qualified to be a High Court judge. Supreme Court judge and High Court judge, there is one difference that you need to note down. He must Attorney General of India, Attorney General of India must be qualified as Supreme Court judge, or can be a High Court judge for 5 years. Can be a High Court judge for 5 years, or 10 years as an advocate or a distinguished jurist. What about High Court judge? हाई कोर्ट जज मतलब 10 years एज एन एडवोकेट, सिर्फ यही होगी. 10 years ऑफ एडवोकेट और डिस्टिंग्विश्ड ज्यूरिस्ट हम बोलते हैं ना, तो ये डिस्टिंग्विश्ड ज्यूरिस्ट का प्रोविजन नहीं है हाई कोर्ट जज के केस में. I think there was a question there which was ticked wrong. That's why I included this. Qualified as a Supreme Court judge, or Attorney General of India must be qualified as Supreme Court judge, or must have must be a High Court judge for 5 years, or must be an advocate or distinguished jurist for 10 years to be qualified as a Attorney General of India. To be qualified as Advocate General of State, must be qualified as High Court judge, or must be an advocate for 10 years. There is no provision of distinguished jurist, only advocate. So these are some of the qualifications of Attorney General or Advocate General. Who shall appoint and who shall remove? This qualification is there in the Constitution. You read it also. Now let's see who shall appoint and who shall remove. President is the one appointing and President is the one who is removing. What about Advocate General of State? The governor is the one appointing and removing. And qualifications we have discussed. Removal also we have discussed. And yeah, if you are an Attorney or Advocate General, you are working for the pleasure of President. That means you are having, you can be reappointed and you can also have a future employment later. Let's see them later, and let's go to Special Officers for Linguistic Minorities. Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities, it's in Article 350B. It was inserted in Constitution during state reorganization. 7th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1956. There is a State Reorganization Act, if you remember, right? What happened in the State Reorganization Act? In 1947, there used to be 4 zones. In 1947, there used to be 4 zones. What are the 4 zones? A, B, C, D, 4 zones होते थे. लेकिन after State Reorganization Act, these 4 zones were split into 14 states and 6 union territories. And the C and D zones were still there. They were union territories only. But this ABCD was split into 14 states and 6 union territories. 14 states and 6 union territories and union territories. And it also, so the 7th Constitution Amendment Act, it reorganized the structure of Indian states based upon the language basis, and also it created a provision for common high court for 2 or more states. 7th Constitution Amendment Act created a provision of common high court for 2 or more states. Article 350B, introduced by the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1956, mentions special officer for linguistic minorities, and he is appointed by the president, and removal is also done by the president, and he comes under the Ministry of Minority Affairs, and the headquarters is in Delhi. I think you need not remember more than this. Let's go to NCSC, NCST, and NCBC. Article 338, 338A, 338B. Very important. 338, 338A, 338B. I hope you can remember this. From this, 3 is repeating 2 times. Therefore, now I need to say that, okay, the term period is only 3. And this 3 is usual in general. Usually, it is the president who is going to determine the term period. And it's usually 3 years. National chairperson of NCSC, NCST, NCBC is going to stay for 3 years only. And what is the composition? Chairperson, vice chairperson, and 3 members. Chairperson, vice chairperson, and 3 members. Total कितना? 5. Chairperson, vice chairperson, 3 members. ऐसे याद रखना. C, VC, 3. 3 है ना, इसलिए मैं बोल रही हूँ. 338, 338A, 338B. Appointed by the president, removed by the president. And इनका future employment reappointment अभी मत देखना, but देखने तो देख लेना. Future employment reappointment, हाँ, future employment तो है. क्यों नहीं हो सकता? Reappointment, सेम बंदे को कमिश्नर ऑफ मतलब चेयरपर्सन ऑफ एनसीएससी कितने बार लगाओ? 2 बार, 2 बार से ज़्यादा नहीं. दूसरे और को मौका देना. ओके, ही इज अपॉइंटेड फॉर मैक्सिमम 2 टर्म्स. Reappointment is for maximum 2 terms, and they can also have a future employment in some other office. There is no such restriction. Let's look into this later. Let's not deviate ourselves. Let's look into this. Originally, in the Article 338, it talks about special officer for SC and ST. It says that 338 talks about there must be a special officer for SC and ST. This is the original 338. There is a commissioner for SC and ST. But what happened in 1978? In 1978, there was a resolution, and after which a multi-member commission was formed, and 7 or 8 को reverse करना, 1987 आ गया, तो a national commission for SC and ST बन गया. National Commission for SC and ST. And what happened after that? There was the 65th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1990. You need not remember this. It talked about multi-member National Commission for SC and ST. Later, मतलब, yeah, कुछ दिन तक there is a SC and ST, there was National Commission for SC and ST only. And 1987 में रेजोल्यूशन पास हुआ कि ये कमिटी से देखना, 1978 ने कमिटी ने बताया कि एक मल्टी मेंबर कमीशन, मतलब एक मल्टी मेंबर कमीशन फॉर्म हुआ 1978 में, ठीक है. 1987 में ये होता है कि ये मल्टी मेंबर कमीशन ना नेशनल एक रेजोल्यूशन पास करती है, ये होना चाहिए मल्टी मेंबर नेशनल कमीशन फॉर SC and ST होना चाहिए. ये बताती है कि ऐसा होना चाहिए 1987 में. फ्लिप करना, तो 1990 में ये होता है कि एक कमिटी एक्चुअली में फॉर्म होती है, नेशनल कमीशन फॉर SC and ST. ये 1990, 65th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एक्ट ऑफ 1990. लेकिन 89th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एक्ट 2003 में ये होता है कि ये NC-SC और NC-ST में स्प्लिट हो जाती है. गॉट इट? सी, ओरिजिनल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आर्टिकल 338 टॉक्स अबाउट स्पेशल कमिश्नर फॉर SC and ST. Special Commissioner for SC and ST. And 1978, there is a multi-member commission. And in 1987, this multi-member commission recommends for National Commission for SC and ST. And finally, in 1990, there is a formation of National Commission for SC and ST under 65th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1990. But again, in 89th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2003, this was split into SC and ST. National Commission for SC and National Commission of ST got bifurcated in 89th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2003. Okay, one more thing. National Commission for SC and National Commission for BC, they come under Ministry of Social Justice, whereas National Commission for ST, it comes under Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Whatever the statutory provision for National Commission for BCs, 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act has given a constitutional provision. See, you know Mandal Commission, this was formed somewhere in 1991, 1992, and later finally in 1993 नेशनल कमीशन फॉर BC गॉट अ स्टैट्यूटरी स्टेटस. NCBC स्टैट्यूटरी स्टेटस तो मिल ही गया, लेकिन इसको एक कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बैकिंग भी चाहिए ना. तो 102nd कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट एक्ट ऑफ 2018 इट क्रिएटेड अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बैकिंग. 102nd कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एक्ट ऑफ 2018 is the period where I cleared JEE, that is 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act. On this day, constitutional backing was given to OBCs. मतलब NCBC got a constitutional backing. मतलब 338B, it was introduced by 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 2018. 2018. What about 338A? SC and ST got bifurcated, right? Which act? The last act, 89th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2003. It introduced Article 338A, and 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act introduced Article 338B. These ministries have powers of civil court. Are there any other constitutional bodies that we need to discuss? GST Council. GST Council, देखना Finance Commission Article 280 है, मतलब GST Council is in Article 279A. Article 279 mentions about a GST Council. Members must have chairperson, vice chairperson and other members. Finance Minister होगा इसमें GST Council में. Ministers of States in Finance, मतलब Finance Ministers from State होगा, Finance Minister of India होगा, other ministers होगा. GST Council, Article 279 mentions about GST Council. And you need to remember one thing is that GST Council is the first constitutional federal body, and the voting rights, 1/3 of the voting rights in the GST Council are given to the center, and 2/3 are given to the state. And to start voting process, there must be at least half of the quorum, मतलब 50% of the members must be present to start the voting, to initiate the voting process. This is the first constitutional federal body. While we are discussing Attorney General and Advocate General, I should have also discussed about Solicitor General of India. But you know what? It's not a constitutional body. It's a statutory body. Law Officers Conditions of Service Act 1968 mentions about Solicitor General. He is just like a subordinate to Attorney General of India. मतलब Attorney General of India is the first in rank among the law officers, right? So subordinate मतलब second in rank among the law officers. And in the table of precedence, he is in the 23rd rank. And his salary is usually gets a salary upon a contract-based remuneration, and he also works for the pleasure of president. But there are certain distinctions from Attorney General of India. You know, Attorney General of India can participate in parliamentary, मतलब he cannot participate in the parliamentary proceedings. But you know, Attorney General of India can participate in the parliamentary proceedings. मतलब he can speak in the parliamentary proceedings, but it is not the same with the Solicitor General of India. And he represents accused for civil cases without a government approval, but he cannot represent the accused for criminal cases. But he can represent accused for the civil cases without any government approval, but not for criminal. This clause is same for the Attorney General of India also, actually. Ki Attorney General of India cannot also represent criminal cases without government approval. So yeah, without government approval, they cannot, nor even Attorney General or Solicitor General, both of them, they cannot represent accused for the criminal cases, but they can represent without government approval for civil cases. This is his or her power, and they cannot, मतलब Attorney General of India can participate, मतलब can speak in the parliamentary proceedings, but it's not the same with Solicitor General. And of course, Solicitor General works for the pleasure of president, not Attorney General, pleasure of president. Remember this. And what's the term period? Term period of Solicitor General is 3 years. 3 years. 3 years is the same for NCSC, NCBC, etc. And it's all the same. Solicitor General usually is for a term period of 3 years. Wait a second. I think, why am I saying this 3 years? Works for the pleasure of president, right? Sorry, I am really sorry. They have a fixed term period for 3 years, it's right, but they do not work for the pleasure of president. He has a fixed term, मतलब pleasure of president के लिए कैसे काम करेगा? ये गलत बात है. किसी के pleasure में काम नहीं करेगा. It's a fixed term. He works for fixed term of 3 years, which is provided in this Law Officers Conditions of Service Act of 1968. हमने दिमाग लगाया. चलो. Tell me one thing. Who appoints this Solicitor General? Appointed by the ACC. ACC, Appointment Committee of the Cabinet. ACC. ACC is chaired by the Prime Minister. Rather than being directed as a constitutional appointment by the president, it is the appointment of Solicitor General is made by the Appointment Committee of Cabinet. As we have seen constitutional bodies, shall we quickly revise? Yes, Election Commission, Article 324, 326, 6 or 65. Composition, 3 members appointed by 3-member body. Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, Union Cabinet Minister. UPSC, 315 to 323, matlab 3 2 6, 6 or 65, mentioned in the Constitution. And composition consists of chairperson and other members from 9 to 11. Finance Commission, 16th Finance Commission is from 2026 to 2031 anyhow. F matlab, okay. Term period is fixed by the president. The 16th Finance Commission is for 5 years, but the last that we have seen is for 6 years. That means that it is variable, therefore it is fixed by the president. And F matlab 5. Composition, there are 5 members, chairperson plus other members. Okay. Controller and Auditor General of India, 6 or 65, that's true, but it is mentioned in 1970. Controller and Auditor General, 149 talks about, 148 is about CAG, but 149 talks about CAG Act of 1971. 7 minus 1, 6. So term period is 6 or 65, and the term period is 6 or 65. With the composition, none. Attorney General and Advocate General, a term period, they work for the pleasure of president, so there is no term period. Composition none. Special officer for linguistic minority. देखो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन साइलेंट है, छोड़ देते हैं, क्यों याद करना है ना? टर्म पीरियड नहीं है, कॉम्पोजिशन कुछ नहीं है, बस इतना याद रखना कि ये आर्टिकल 350 बी है। 350 बी इंट्रोड्यूस बाय 7th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट एक्ट ऑफ 1956 ड्यूरिंग स्टेट रीऑर्गेनाइजेशन। आर्टिकल 350 बी, 7th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन अमेंडमेंट एक्ट ऑफ 1956 इंट्रोड्यूस्ड आर्टिकल 350 बी। Okay, next, National Commission for SC, ST, OBC. I said you to remember 338, 338A, 338B. 338A was introduced by 89th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2003, and 338B is introduced by 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 2018. Now, what is the term period? 3 है, लेकिन it's decided by the president. It's not fixed. And next, what is the composition? Chairperson, vice chairperson, and 3 other members. And one more thing, National Commission for ST and OBC. Chairperson and vice chairperson and 3 members, I said, right? But among this 3%, there is certain criteria that this vice chairperson must be a minister of state and the other 3 members must be secretary to the government of India. This is normal. But one thing is that the composition, 1 member must be woman, 3 members, मतलब at least 1 member must be woman. मतलब देखना, यहाँ पे मैं बता रही हूँ कि 3 है, ये वाइस चेयरमैन प्लस अदर चेयरमैन को मिला के 4 मेंबर्स होते हैं ना, इस 4 में कम से कम 1 वुमेन होना चाहिए और 3 एसटीज होना चाहिए, कम से कम 3 STs and at least 1 woman. This is for National Commission for STs. And the rank of chairperson must be a union cabinet minister. मतलब his rank must be equal to union cabinet minister. That is about National Commission for ST, BC. So I think a quick revision is done. GST Council Article 279A, and of course these two are statutory bodies. They are not constitutional bodies. Solicitor General of India, the act is Law Officers Conditions of Service Act of 1968. He's second in rank and his term period is 3 years. It's fixed. It's they do not work for the pleasure of president. He do not work for the pleasure of president, and he cannot participate in the parliamentary proceedings, unlike Attorney General of India. 324, 3 2 6, 6 or 65, and 3-member body. UPSC, 3 2 6, chairperson. State PSC, again 3 2 6, 6 or 62. Finance Commission, not fixed by the president, and it's a 5-member body. CAG, Article 148 is about CAG, but Article 149 mentions about CAG Act of 1971. Therefore, 7 minus 1 6. Got it? And Attorney General of India, 6 or 65. Okay, Attorney General of India, Advocate General of India, Advocate General of State, they work for the pleasure of President. And 350B, Special Officers for Linguistic Minority, just remember Article 350B, introduced by 7th Amendment Act of 1956. And National Commission for SC, ST, OBC, 338A, B. Okay, 89th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2003, 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 2008. Introduced 338A, 338B. And the term period is usually 3 years, as decided by the President. Now let us move to non-constitutional bodies. We have revised it 2 times. Now let's see non-constitutional bodies. National Human Rights Commission, State Human Rights Commission. They are, it's a 13-member body. NHRC is a 13-member body and SHRC is a 3-member body. It's a non-constitutional body. And it non-constitutional मतलब ये statutory भी हो सकती है या फिर passed by an executive by an order, ऐसा कुछ भी हो सकता है. Let's see which type of body it is. If it is by an act, then it's a statutory body. Yes, NHRC, SHRC, it's a body created under Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, which was amended in 2019. But it was a body created under Protection of Human Rights Act of 1993, or else it got NHRC or SHRC got a statutory basis under Protection of Human Rights Act of 1993. Chairperson and other members. Okay, let's see. See, NHRC, it's a 13-member body, right? 13, remember it as C plus 5 plus 7. It's 13. Therefore, it consists of chairperson and 5 full-time members, 5 full-time members and 7 ex officio members. 5 full-time and 7 ex officio members. Who are these 5 full-time members? 1 Supreme Court judge, 1 High Court judge, and 3 members, out of which at least 1 must be woman. 5 को हम फिर से split करेंगे 1 plus 1 plus 3 में. 1 Supreme Court judge or 1 High Court judge and 3 at least one among another 3 members, and among which at least 1 must be woman. National Commission for Human Rights में. And what about 7 ex officio members? 7 different minority commissions में एक एक को उठाओ बस. National Commission for Minorities, women, 1 woman, SC. Okay, National Commission for Minority, women, NCSC, NCST, NCOBC, Protection of Child Rights, National Commission, Chief Commissioner for Physically Handicapped, PWD. Okay, 7 हो गया ना भाई. Minority, women, SC, ST, OBC, एक एक को उठा लो. Chairperson, 5 full-time members and 7 ex officio members. NHRC, ये है. What about SHRC? It's a 3-member body. Chairperson plus 2 members. We have seen about composition. What about the term period? I said ना, term period के साथ discuss करना जो भी discuss कर रहे हो. 1993 से term period मतलब 3 है. मतलब ऐसे करूँगी कि 3 है, यहाँ पे 7 है. तो 3 और 70 is the term period. 3 or 7. So the same term period applies for State Human Rights Commission also. So therefore it is also having 3 or 70. Because Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, the same applies for this 3 or 70 logic. Mm, and what do you think? Who recommends? मतलब प्रेसिडेंट अपॉइंट करेगा, सेंट्रल बॉडी तो प्रेसिडेंट अपॉइंट करेगा, स्टेट बॉडी है तो गवर्नर अपॉइंट करेगा, लेकिन रिकमेंड कौन करेगा अपॉइंट करने के लिए? इट इज रिकमेंडेड बाय 6 member बॉडी. 6 member body मतलब is recommended by 6 member selection committee consisting of prime minister, leader of opposition of both the houses, स्पीकर मतलब चेयरपर्सन ऑफ बोथ द हाउसेस एंड होम मिनिस्टर. देख ना, होम मिनिस्टर बहुत कम जगह पे होता है. एक तो ह्यूमन राइट्स पे होम मिनिस्टर हो गया, कहीं और पे ही आएगा लेकिन बाद में देखते हैं. बट होम मिनिस्टर यू नीड टू रिमेंबर यूजुअली रिलेटेड टू डिजास्टर इन्वेस्टिगेशन और ह्यूमन राइट्स, ऐसे जगहों पे होम मिनिस्टर को होना चाहिए. रिकमेंडेड बाय 6 member बॉडी. 6 member प्राइम मिनिस्टर, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन ऑफ बोथ द हाउसेस, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन ऑफ बोथ द हाउसेस इनका LOOP. 3 members हो गया. और कौन? प्राइम मिनिस्टर, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन ऑफ बोथ द हाउसेस एंड चेयरपर्सन ऑफ बोथ द हाउसेस, chairperson of both the houses, right? And home minister. Total 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Prime minister, home minister, leader of opposition of both the houses, and speaker, chairperson of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. This is the composition of a committee which is recommending president to appoint NHRC. Got it? What about the qualifications? Qualification: chairperson must be a retired chief justice of India or a Supreme Court judge. NHRC का chairperson must be a retired chief justice of India or a Supreme Court judge. What about the qualifications of other members? Serving or retired Supreme Court judge, serving or retired Supreme Court judge, and मतलब there are 6 members में 1 member का क्वालिफिकेशन हमने डिसाइड कर लिया, तो बाकी 5 members में एक तो सर्विंग और रिटायर्ड सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज होना चाहिए और दूसरा सर्विंग और रिटायर्ड हाई कोर्ट जज होना चाहिए. और एंड देन 3 persons विद स्पेशल नॉलेज इन ह्यूमन राइट्स. वो जुडिशरी को ह्यूमन राइट्स में डाल दिया. सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज, सर्विंग और रिटायर्ड सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज, सर्विंग और रिटायर्ड हाई कोर्ट जज, 3 persons विद स्पेशल नॉलेज इन ह्यूमन राइट्स. टोटल 5 हो गया. तो एक चेयरपर्सन का क्वालिफिकेशन होना चाहिए रिटायर्ड और CJ सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज. गॉट इट? दिस इज द कॉम्पोजिशन ऑफ NHRC में. मतलब हमने डिसाइड कर लिया है ना कि 5 member है, 5 full time members हैं. इस 5 full time members का मैं बता रही हूँ. आई गेस मैं 5 full time members का ही बता रही हूँ कि इसमें 5 है. चेयरपर्सन का क्वालिफिकेशन हमने देख लिया. 5 full time members का भी हमने यहाँ पे देख लिया. ओके, आई सेड ना कि 1 सुप्रीम कोर्ट 1 हाई कोर्ट, ये यही है कि सर्विंग और रिटायर्ड सुप्रीम कोर्ट, सर्विंग और रिटायर्ड हाई कोर्ट चीफ जस्टिस, सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज, हाई कोर्ट चीफ जस्टिस है. हाई कोर्ट चीफ जस्टिस, सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज एंड 3 members, 3 persons with special knowledge in human rights, out of which at least 1 must be women. Okay. And what about the salary? Salary is decided by the center and it cannot be varied. Of course, whatever salary we have seen, it cannot be varied. And president ही decide करेगा mostly. मतलब center है तो president है, दोनों same ही है. Center it's similar to president. जो अपॉइंट करेगा वही रिमूव करेगा. अपॉइंट कौन करेगा? प्रेसिडेंट अपॉइंट करेगा. तो रिमूव कौन करेगा? प्रेसिडेंट ही करेगा. लेकिन गवर्नर को क्या? गवर्नर इज द वन हु अपॉइंट स्टेट ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन, बट हु रिमूव्स? इट्स द प्रेसिडेंट. दिस इज दैट यू नीड टू रिमेंबर. अपॉइंट तो गवर्नर करेगा लेकिन रिमूवल ऑफ SHRC प्रेसिडेंट करेगा. What about the grounds of removal? How can president remove? President can remove on the grounds of insolvency, paid employment, मतलब office of profit, unsound mind, imprisonment, or all of these grounds are examined by the Supreme Court Inquiry Committee. And after Supreme Court Inquiry, the advice is binding upon the president to remove chairperson for NHRC or SHRC. It's the same for SHRC also. Removal is done by the president and resignation is done by the president only. What about okay, under which ministry? Ministry of Home Affairs. I shall discuss them later, as I said. And one thing you need to remember is NHRC can't probe into cases for more than 1 year. Not NHRC actually, human rights courts. There are special human rights courts, and these courts they are set up in every district under this Protection of Human Rights Act 1993. This is set up by state with the High Court Chief Justice correspondence and a public prosecutor or advocate with 7 years of experience of each in a human rights court are present in the human rights court, and these human rights court cannot probe cases for more than 1 year. Can't probe cases for more than. इसका मीनिंग क्या है? इसका मीनिंग यही है कि the commission is expressly मतलब Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 says that the NHRC as HSRC is expressly prohibited from inquiring into any matter after the expiry of 1 year from the date on which allegedly the human rights violation occurred. There is a limitation period. मतलब if a complaint is filed more than 1 year after the incident, NHRC cannot investigate. And also, the reappointment and future employment, if we are not going to talk, but I'm saying that reappointment is allowed because to serve as an institutional memory. मतलब 1 साल तक तो एक human rights case चल रही है ना, therefore it's long running. You cannot abruptly remove someone. Therefore, if needed, you might need to reappoint him. Therefore, reappointment is allowed because some human rights cases are pretty long running. And what about future employment? They are not allowed because members might try to satisfy government for better services. So we'll discuss it later. but they cannot probe cases for more than 1 year. It's High Court or NHRC, SHRC, whatever it is. Now let's discuss about Chief Information Commission and State Information Commission. CIC देखना ऐसा है, तो इसका मतलब टर्म पीरियड इट्स फिक्स्ड बाय द सेंटर, टर्म पीरियड। और आई को देख के मुझे लगता है इसको 11 बना लूँ, 1+10 करूँ। 1+10 मतलब 1 इज चेयरपर्सन, अदर इज अदर इन्फॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर्स। सो चीफ इन्फॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर, स्टेट इन्फॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर, दोनों है। कौन सी एक्ट? ऑफ कोर्स आरटी एक्ट ऑफ 2005। यू नो आफ्टर दिस ये आई थिंक वेट ADC वर्सेस यूनियन ऑफ इंडिया 2002 केस, Association of ADR, हाँ, Association of Democratic Reforms versus Union of India 2002 case. What is this ADR? It's a civil society which is a group of teachers, professors, etc. from Ahmedabad city. They went to the Union of India and asked that why political parties are not in, it's a right to information to know about the details of the political parties, etc. And therefore Supreme Court it's the same. Supreme Court said that yes, it's your fundamental right, a right to knowledge, and therefore RTA Act 2005 was passed 3 years later. That case, I think during in the Election Commission of India topic, I have detailedly mentioned about RTA Act 2005 and the subsequent evolution which led to disqualification of dismissal of electoral bond scheme. Okay, you need to once check the topic. Okay, anyways, let's come to this. See, Central Information Commissioner, State Information Commission, both of them were given statutory status under RTI Act of 2005. It consists of 11 members, Chief Information Commissioner and other information commissioners, and the term period it is fixed by the center. And who appoints? He or she is appointed by Chief Information Commissioner or Information Commissioner. They are appointed by President. State Information Commission, it is appointed by the Governor, appointed based upon a recommending body, 3-member selection body, which consists of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, and a minister nominated by the Prime Minister. Easy to remember, right? Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, and a minister nominated by the Prime Minister, of course. And similarly, Chief Minister, Leader of Opposition of Legislative Assembly, and Minister nominated by the Chief Minister. The composition also the same. And remember, this is not a state information commission का composition term period भी center ही determine करेगी, दोनों का center ही करेगी। term period है यार, term period तो हम तो ऐसे करेंगे ना, ऐसे तो same ही होगा ना, center other than this state PSC जहाँ पे 6 और 62 constitution में ही mentioned है, most of the places it's the term period of center is same as the state and center is the one to determine the term period. What about removal? जो अपॉइंट करेगा वही रिमूव करेगा, अपॉइंट तो प्रेसिडेंट करेगा तो रिमूवल भी प्रेसिडेंट करेगा। कंडीशंस कैसे हैं? टर्म पीरियड सेंटर बता रही तो टर्म कंडीशंस ऑफ ऑफिस भी सेंटर ही बताएगी। या कंडीशंस ऑफ ऑफिस, राइट? कंडीशंस ऑफ ऑफिस मतलब सैलरी है ना, हु डिसाइड्स सैलरी, वही है ना। ऑफ कोर्स सेंटर मतलब प्रेसिडेंट, सेंटर डिसाइड करेगी सैलरी। एंड वन थिंग इज दे कैन नॉट बी वेरिड। सी यूजुअली स्टेट के लिए स्टेट डिटरमाइन करेगी, सेंटर के लिए मतलब सेंटर डिटरमाइन करेगी सैलरी तो यही है ना। NHRC के लिए क्या? सेंटर, HSRC के लिए स्टेट डिटरमाइन करेगी सैलरी एंड दे कैन नॉट बी वेरिड। सिमिलरली CIC SIC के लिए सेंटर डिटरमाइन करेगी, लेकिन SIC के लिए CC याद रखना कि इसका भी सेंटर ही डिटरमाइन करेगी, स्टेट इन्फॉर्मेशन कमीशन का भी। एंड रिमूवल ऑफ कोर्स द सेम, इंसॉल्वेंसी, प्रूव्ड मिसबिहेवियर, वो सब होता है। सी ए बिट डिफरेंट, दिस ग्राउंड इज प्रूव्ड मिसबिहेवियर और इनकैपेसिटी आफ्टर सुप्रीम कोर्ट इंक्वायरी। ओके, मतलब यही दोनों है, ये दोनों ही है, सिर्फ यहाँ पे बहुत सारे है ना, अनसाउंड माइंड एक्सेट्रा, यहाँ पे सिर्फ इतना है कि प्रूव्ड मिसबिहेवियर और इनकैपेसिटी आफ्टर सुप्रीम कोर्ट इंक्वायरी। प्रेसिडेंट इज द वन हु रिमूव्स CIC कमिश्नर एंड गवर्नर इज द वन हु रिमूव्स स्टेट इन्फॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर। गवर्नर, नॉट प्रेसिडेंट। यहाँ पे SHRC में प्रेसिडेंट करेगा। ह्यूमन राइट्स है यार, तो प्रेसिडेंट ही करेगा। स्टेट इन्फॉर्मेशन यार रिमूव करना है तो गवर्नर भी कर सकता है। आई मीन इट्स प्रेटी हार्ड टू रिमेंबर, आई नो, लेकिन स्टेट ह्यूमन राइट्स तो प्रेसिडेंट रिमूव करेगा और इन्फॉर्मेशन है तो गवर्नर। मतलब इतना प्रोटेक्शन है कि हमारी इन्फॉर्मेशन के लिए रिमूवल तो गवर्नर करेगा, प्रेसिडेंट नहीं। स्टेट इन्फॉर्मेशन कमीशन या रिमूवल ऑफ स्टेट इन्फॉर्मेशन कमिश्नर एंड अदर मेंबर्स is by governor, not president, whereas state human rights removal is by president. And most of the times it's not just here but anywhere you always see that it's the governor. So don't try to remember everything, just remember that state human rights के लिए removal president करेगा, बाकी सारे में अगर state body है तो governor ही करेगा removal. This is an exemption. Okay, and it comes under the department of Ministry of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions, and its work is RTI enforcement at the center or state. Shall we also see suo motu powers, if the body is having any suo motu powers? Usually the questions are asked, the questions about suo motu powers are being asked for non-constitutional bodies. What I observed is that if a particular body is advisory, तो उसको हम सो मोटो पावर्स दे रहे हैं, तो चलो भाई तुम एडवाइजरी बॉडी हो, चलो सो मोटो पावर्स दे ही देते हैं। लेकिन इफ अ बॉडी इज नॉन एडवाइजरी देन वी आर नॉट प्रोवाइडिंग सो मोटो पावर्स। नॉन एडवाइजरी अगर आरटीआई चीफ इंफॉर्मेशन कमीशन को हम अगर सो मोटो पावर्स देते हैं, उसको बहुत सारे पावर्स आ जाएगी कि ये स्टेट के अगेंस्ट आरटीआई भी एनफोर्स कर सकती है। दैट इज वाई वी आर नॉट गिविंग सो मोटो पावर्स for non-advisory bodies. For advisory bodies, we are giving. Some non-advisory bodies have so moto powers. Remember them like some exemptions. Because, example, Bar Council of India, it need to take care of judges, regulate colleges. It has a lot of work to do. So it is all, and also it is a judicial body. It is a judicial body, similar to a judicial body. Therefore, judiciary is independent. Things like that, and think that therefore it must be given so moto powers. Okay, Bar Council of India has so moto powers, but one advisory body which is not having so moto powers is Niti Aayog. Prime Minister is the chairman, but still they do not have suo moto powers. Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog and Bar Council of India, they are exemptions. And do you know Zonal Council and Interstate Council? They also do not have suo moto powers because they are advisory in nature. Is it? We will see them later. Now let us see NHRC and SHRC. Yes, NHRC and SHRC have suo moto powers because ह्यूमन राइट्स है यार, पावर्स है ना है, क्या ही फर्क पड़ेगा, तो दे देते हैं सो मोटो पावर्स बस। वी आर गिविंग सो मोटो पावर्स। व्हाट अबाउट चीफ इन्फॉर्मेशन एंड स्टेट इन्फॉर्मेशन के रिलेटेड है तो सो मोटो पावर्स नहीं देंगे। समझ में आ गया? नाउ लेट अस गो टू सम इम्पोर्टेंट बॉडीज. व्हाट आर दे? लोकपाल एंड लोकयुक्ता, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आफ्टर लोकपाल एंड लोकयुक्ता लेट अस सी सीवीसी, सीबीआई, ईडी एंड एनआईए, and let's also discuss the other bodies. First, Lokpal and Lokyukta. Lokpal and Lokyukta, it was from Lokpal and Lokyukta Act of 2013 gave statutory status to Lokpal. Pal matlab I am able to remember 5. So I can say that the term period is 5 or 70. Okay. 5 or 70. What about Lokyukta? Lokyukta state है तो 5 years कम हो जाएगी. 5 और 65. 5 और 65 इसका term period है. What about composition? Composition 2013 I am writing it as 2 plus 1 plus 3. It will become 6. 6 को reverse करूंगी तो 9. 9 is the maximum that 6 can become. Therefore maximum 9 members तो हो सकते हैं, उससे ज़्यादा नहीं हो पाएगा. Maximum 9 members and members it consists of chairperson, 50% of judicial members and 50% of other members. 50% must be judicial members and 50% can be other members. So that is the composition. And who is going to appoint this body? President on recommendation of a 5-member body. लोकपाल मतलब 5 है ना, तो 5-member body recommend करेगी. कौन? Selection committee. Prime Minister, लोग okay. Select 5 members में कौन कौन होगा? 5 मिनट्स में कौन? प्राइम मिनिस्टर, लोकसभा का स्पीकर. ओके. प्राइम मिनिस्टर, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन ऑफ लोकसभा एंड लोकसभा याद रखना, लोकपाल मतलब लोकसभा याद रखना. प्राइम मिनिस्टर, लोकसभा का स्पीकर, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन ऑफ लोकसभा एंड स्पीकर ऑफ लोकसभा. नेक्स्ट, जुडिशरी से भी कोई तो होना चाहिए ना, तो चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया और नॉमिनेट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज नॉमिनेटेड बाय द चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया. एंड नेक्स्ट, eminent jurist nominated by the president. Eminent jurist nominated by the president, recommended by other four. Okay, मतलब eminent jurist is appointed by the nominated by the president, but this eminent jurist is recommended by the other four. Got it? Basically, Lokpal, the body of Lokpal, is appointed by the president on the recommendation of 5-member selection committee consisting of prime minister, leader of opposition of Lok Sabha, speaker of Lok Sabha, and chief justice of India or someone or nominated as a Supreme Court judge. Eminent jurist nominated by the president on the recommendation of 4 other. This is about the composition of a selection committee. What about search committee? Search committee will recommend names to selection committee, and the search committee must have 50% from reserved category. Okay. नेक्स्ट, ये हो गया सर्च कमेटी, सिलेक्शन कमेटी, टर्म पीरियड हो गया, कॉम्पोजिशन हो गया. चलो क्वालिफिकेशंस देख लेते हैं एक बार. क्वालिफिकेशंस तो हमने देख लिया ना. मेंबर बनने के लिए 50% जुडिशियल मेंबर्स होना चाहिए, 50% फ्रॉम द माइनॉरिटीज. माइनॉरिटीज मतलब SC ST OBC माइनॉरिटी ग्रुप्स, वुमेन, ये सब आते हैं. 50% तो उस मेंबर्स होना चाहिए, 50% जुडिशियल मेंबर्स होना चाहिए. एंड नेक्स्ट, क्वालिफिकेशंस ऑफ एमिनेंट जूरिस्ट का क्वालिफिकेशन क्या होना चाहिए? 25 ईयर्स स्पेशल नॉलेज होना चाहिए एमिनेंट जूरिस्ट में. ये 5 मेंबर मैं जो एमिनेंट जूरिस्ट बता रही हूँ ना, 25 ईयर्स ऑफ स्पेशल नॉलेज होना चाहिए. व्हाट एल्स? क्वालिफिकेशंस के साथ साथ नॉन एलिजिबिलिटी कंडीशंस क्या? He or she must not be less than 45 years of age, must not have office of profit, must not be an MP or MLA, or must not be convicted for an offense or dismissed from service. Okay, must not. So yeah, must not be less than 45 years of age and must not be 45 years of age, must not have must not have office of profit and must not be an MP or MLA or must not be convicted as an convicted under an offense or must not be dismissed from a service. So all such persons they cannot apply for the position of लोकपाल. Got it? So अपॉइंट प्रेसिडेंट करेगा तो रिमूवल तो प्रेसिडेंट ही करेगा. ग्राउंड्स क्या है? ऑफिस ऑफ प्रॉफिट, इंसॉल्वेंसी, प्रूव्ड मिसबिहेवियर और इनकैपेसिटी. But anyways, to remove the chairperson of Lokpal or member of Lokpal, a reference to Supreme Court can be made first. Okay, and Supreme Court is going to constitute judges, Supreme Court Inquiry Committee under Judges Inquiry Act 1968. And for this petition to be made, at least 100 MPs must sign. You require a reference from 100 MPs must be required, and then such petition must be filed to judges, must be filed to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court is going to constitute a Supreme Court Inquiry Act. And the Supreme Court can decide whether to remove a member of Lokpal or not based upon certain grounds like proved misbehavior, incapacity, office of profit, unsound mind, insolvency, convicted to imprisonment or not. So certain grounds are examined. And remember, Lokpal and Lokyukta, they come under Ministry of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions. CIC and SIC also comes under this. Similarly, Lokpal and Lokyukta also come under this. State Ministry of Personal, for State Information Commissioner or Lokyukta. For CIC or Lokpal, it's the Ministry of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions, the same ministry. बेसिकली लोकपाल को हम ये बोलते हैं ना सेंट्रल एंटी करप्शन अम्बुड्समैन. लोकयुक्ता को हम बोलते हैं स्टेट एंटी करप्शन अम्बुड्समैन. लोकपाल इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड टूथलेस टाइगर. देयरफॉर हम सो मोटो पावर दे सकते हैं बिकॉज इट्स अ टूथलेस टाइगर. क्या ही करेगी? देयरफॉर विल गिव सो मोटो पावर्स. But for Lokayukta, the removal process is not this complex. For Lokayukta, it differs from state to state, and the removal is of course by the governor only. But the removal process varies from state to state. Generally requires order from the governor after an address by the state legislative assembly. That's all. No such inquiry committee and all. But it might depend. But in general, it's order from the governor after an address by the state legislative assembly. The composition is also the same for Lokayukta. मतलब similar है कि prime chief minister होगा, leader of opposition of legislative assembly का speaker, chief justice of high court, eminent jurist. but search committee रिकमेंड करेगी सिलेक्शन, मतलब नेम सजेस्ट करेगी सिलेक्शन कमेटी को. सिलेक्शन कमेटी रिकमेंड करेगी प्रेसिडेंट को. प्रेसिडेंट अपॉइंट करेगा लोकपाल. और नाउ लेट्स सी CBC, CBI, ED and NIA. Statutory provision is only for CBC, ED and NIA. CBI do not have statutory provision. It is an executive body and it's not a statutory body. Remember this, CBI is an executive body under Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. Okay. CBI is not a statutory body or a constitutional body. It is an executive body. It's an executive body established in 1963. Established in 1963 by a resolution of Ministry of Home Affairs. It derives its investigative powers. CBI derives its investigative powers from Delhi Special Police Establishment Act of 1946. ओके इससे पावर्स आती है लेकिन इससे ये स्टैट्यूटरी नहीं बनी क्योंकि ये एस्टैब्लिश हुई 1963 में. ओके 1963 में अंडर अ रिजोल्यूशन ऑफ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स. established in 1963. Established in 1963 the Ministry of Home Affairs. Fine. Okay. President on the okay who appoints मतलब okay term period देखते हैं. देखो चलो first let's start from the first. CVC established in 1964 by Santanam resolution. It is also established in 19 maybe similar to 1964. चलो यही याद रखते हैं. Established in 1964 by Santanam resolution. CVC लेकिन CVC को statutory provision मिला under CVC Act of 2003. It is an advisory body. Therefore, it got a statutory provision, but CBI is an executive body. Therefore, it did not have a statutory provision, but it gets powers from Delhi Special Police Establishment Act of 1946. It's a 3-member body consisting of chairperson and 2 members. 3-member body, CVC, 3 members. So, 3-member body. And one more thing, to remember the term period, just remember this 1964, okay? 1964 को 4 term period is 4 or 65. And CBI को मैं करूँगी 6 minus 4, 2 years. Extendable up to 5 years. CBI के लिए. ED के लिए 2 years extendable up to 5 years, similar to CBI. अब NIA term period is determined as per service rules. Okay. CVC established in 1964 by Santanam resolution. Term period is 4 or 65. CBI term period is 2 years and extendable up to 5 years. ED term period is 2 years extendable up to 5 years. NIA determined as per service rules. Okay. Who appoints? That is the problem now. Who appoints? President on the recommendation of 3-member body. Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, Home Minister. CVC विजिलेंस में होम मिनिस्टर होना चाहिए रिकमेंडिंग बॉडी में. व्हाट अबाउट CBI एंड ED? CBI के लिए रिकमेंडिंग बॉडी में चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया होगा. व्हाट अबाउट एनफोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट एंड नेशनल इन्वेस्टिगेशन एजेंसी? विच कमिटी डू यू थिंक? ED के लिए अ कमिटी चेयर्ड बाय CVC. देखो ये कमिटी जो बोल रही हूँ ना, इस कमिटी में कौन होगा पता है? CVC एंड विजिलेंस कमिश्नर्स. CVC अदर विजिलेंस कमिश्नर्स होगा और तो और Secretaries to the Government of India from Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Personnel and Department of Revenue. ये सब होगा. Enforcement Directorate it deals with corruption related activities, money laundering, etc. Therefore, secretaries to the Government of India from Ministry of Home Affairs, Ministry of Personnel, Department, Ministry of Revenue, मतलब Department of Revenue and Ministry of Finance. All of them, all of these secretaries also stay in the all मतलब नहीं, 3 secretaries maybe. One is from Ministry of Home Affairs, other is Ministry of Personnel, other is Ministry of Finance. Home Affairs, Ministry of Personnel, Ministry of Finance. These 3 secretaries and Chief Vigilance Commissioner and other Vigilance Commissioner. So this committee recommends President to appoint chairperson of Enforcement Directorate, and his or her rank can be an IAS or IPS or IARS. Revenue officer also can be appointed as an Enforcement Directorate. What about a National Investigating Agency? It is determined as per service rules. Gets a statutory provision under NIA Act of 2009. National Investigating Agency, NIA Act of 2009 gives statutory status to NIA. And how is NIA appointed? देखना कि NIA को प्रेसिडेंट अपॉइंट नहीं करेगा, NIA को सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट अपॉइंट करेगी. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट अपॉइंट्स NIA एंड अपॉइंटमेंट कमिटी होगी ना ACC. So ACC is the one which usually appoints NIA. Appointment committee consists of whom? Prime Minister and Home Minister. Appointments committee of the cabinet in the central government. So basically the central government appoints National Investigating Agency. Okay, the Director General of NIA is appointed by the central government, and he or she is equivalent to an IPS rank. And the term period, it is determined as per service rules. Got it? Now let us quickly revise. CVC Act is established. CVC and CBI they're established in 1964 under Santanam Resolution. Therefore, but CVC got statutory backing under CVC Act of 2003, whereas CBI it's a executive body and gets its power from Delhi Special Police Establishment Act of 1946. Next, both are established in 1964 by Santanam Resolution. Therefore, I will take 1964 first. 1964 मतलब CVC के लिए मैं ये करूँगी कि 4 और 65 for CVC because it's an advisory body. I'll just take 4 और 65 and the composition CVC में 3 letters है तो मैं करूँगी C+2M 3 members होगा. What about CBI? CBI 6 - 4 करूँगी क्योंकि CBI है 6 - 4 करूँगी 2 years. So 2 years extendable up to 5 years. And what about composition of CBI? Director must be an IPS rank, DG must be an IPS rank, but the other members they are not fixed. The other members are not fixed. That is about CBI. What about Enforcement Directorate and NIA? मुझे कोई एक्ट याद नहीं आ रही है जिससे ये ED स्टैट्यूटरी बन गई है, तो इसका मतलब ED स्टैट्यूटरी नहीं है. Enforcement Directorate is not a statutory body. Remember this. Just similar to CBI, it's an executive body. Got it? It's an executive body and it gets powers from FEMA Act, Prevention of Corruption Act, etc. It gets its powers. But you know, the appointment and tenure of ED director, the appointment and the tenure of ED director was brought under the CVC Act of 2003 only. This gave the director a statutory tenure and specific selection process involving a high level committee. मतलब ये टर्म पीरियड जो भी प्रोविजंस मेंशन है ये CVC एक्ट के अंदर भी है. याद रखना तो याद रख सकते हो या फिर छोड़ सकते हो. So I think you got some clarity. CVC, CBI, ED and NIA. CBI and ED are executive bodies, whereas CVC and NIA they are statutory body. For CVC we have CVC Act of 2003 and NIA we have NIA Act of 2009. Okay. One second, quick revision. CVC, CBI, CVC Act of 2003, Delhi Special. Okay, fine. But a term period revise करते हैं. Term period very easy. See, these two are established after Santanam Resolution 1964. CVC advisory. Therefore, I will put 4. I'll just take 4 or 65. Whereas CBI, no, it's an executive. Therefore, I will do 6 - 4 2 years. Can be extendable up to 5 years. And who appoints? President appoints on the recommendation of CVC को president appoint करेगा on recommendation of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, Home Minister. CBI को Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, Chief Justice of India. CBI similar to CJI, मतलब B को J से replace करूँगी CJI बन जाएगा. CVC Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, Home Minister. ED Enforcement Directorate, it is appointed by President on the recommendation of a committee consisting of Vigilance Commissioners, Chief Vigilance Commissioner and 3 secretaries from Home Minister, Ministry of Personnel and Ministry of Finance, Department of Revenue. So all the secretaries they recommend President. And National Investigating Agency, it's a statutory body, term period, service rules, and appointment is by central government. Need to remember. From appointment, you can also try to recall. You can also try to guess who is going to remove. President appoint करेगा तो president ही remove करेगा. After Supreme Court inquiry, it's an advisory committee. Therefore, president after the Supreme Court inquiry is going to remove CVC. And what about CBI? It is done by the central government. So removal of CVC is definitely by president upon the recommendation of after Supreme Court inquiry, and that recommendation is usually binding. But about CBI, ED, it's central government because it's an executive body. Therefore, central government is the one who is going to remove. And what about National Investigating Agency? It is determined. The removal is determined as per service rules. One more thing. Let us look into ministries. Let us look into ministries. Mm, we have Enforcement Directorate. Okay, wait. We have CVC, CBI, ED, NIA. So CVC, it comes under the Ministry of Personnel. CBI also comes under the Ministry of Personnel. Both of them are 1964 Santaram resolution. What about Enforcement Directorate? It deals with money laundering activities like PMLA, FEMA, etc. Therefore, it comes under the Ministry of Finance. What about Ministry of Home Affairs? This is Enforcement Directorate, na? National Investigating Agency. It deals with terrorism-related activities. Therefore, it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. CBI, other than terrorism-related activities, I think it deals with most of the investigating stuff. Therefore, it comes under the Ministry of Personnel. And CVC is an advisory body. It comes under Ministry of Personnel only. One more note is that CVC, it's an advisory body, and the jurisdiction of CVC does not extend to state government. Jurisdiction of CVC do not extend to state government. Remember this. Jurisdiction of CVC do not extend to state government, and it's just an advisory body. It has superintendence over CBI. Okay, it has superintendence over CBI. That is about CVC. What about CBI? It's an investigating agency, and it do not deal with terrorism activity. If at all, if it wants to enter into a state for investigating, it needs state consent. It needs state consent. But recently, Supreme Court gave a judgment that state consent is not required. If High Court or Supreme Court order for investigation, the state consent is not required. Okay, this is about CBI. We finished CVC and CBI. Now let's look into Enforcement Directorate and National Investigating Agency. Enforcement Directorate, we already know. What about National Investigating Agency? It deals with terror-related investigations. National Investigating Agency deals with terrorism. Therefore, it can probe cases across the India even without state consent. Okay, got it? Now let's look into other bodies. But shall we look into some other investigating agencies and miscellaneous topics? Yes. We know about CBI. We know about NIA. And now there are some investigating agencies like IB, RAW, DRA. What are they? Various agencies. CBI, NIA, Central Bureau of Investigation, National Investigating Agency, National Investigation Agency, Information Bureau, Research and Analysis Wing, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, Central Bureau of Investigation, National Investigation Agency, Intelligence Bureau, Research and Analysis Wing, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. The establishment matlab foundation year. Foundation year, CBI Santaram Resolution 1964. But before that only CBI was founded. It was founded in 1941. It was established in 1941, CBI. National Investigating Agency, we remember this act, NIA Act. NIA Act of 2008, therefore established in 2008. It is a statutory body, it's an executive body. All these bodies are also executive bodies. And Information Bureau, it was established in 1887. Research and Analysis Wing in 1968, and Directorate of Revenue Intelligence in 1957. I think don't remember this stuff. I don't think anyone is going to ask also. Don't remember. So, do you know one mystery? National Investigating Agency, it was formed in 2008. Matlab, NIA Act, it was formed because 26 November 2008, we had Mumbai terror attack. And after this Mumbai terror attack, there was a need for National Investigating Agency to investigate on terrorism-related activities. One thing, it deals with definitely with terrorism-related activities. But let us look into which acts fall under NIA. See, National Investigating Agency, definitely it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs, Department of Internal Security. Okay, and it deals with these mainly these laws related to terrorism. Okay, Atomic Energy Act 1962, UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act of 1967. Terrorism falls under this. Remember that CBI did not investigate terrorism related. It's UAPA, and it falls under Ministry of Home Affairs. National Investigating Agency deals with this. Next, Anti-Hijacking Act 1982. Suppression of unlawful acts against safety of civil aviation. SARC Convention, Suppression of Terrorism Act. Maritime Navigation and Fixed Platforms on Continental Shelf Act 2002. Weapons of Mass Destruction and Delivery Systems. Indian Penal Code. देखना ये सब terrorism, unlawful hijacking, नाम देख के समझ में आ रहा है कि ये सब terrorism related है. Important for the national security. Therefore, National Investigating Agency is going to deal with such things. It comes under Ministry of Home Affairs, Department of Internal Security. And it was created after Mumbai terror attack. And the motto of NIA is Rashtra Rakshanam Adya Kartavyam. Rashtra Rakshanam Adya Kartavyam, and its headquarters is in Delhi. And it has many regional offices also. NIA Act of 2008, it was amended in 2019. Matlab, initially it used to be for internal security, but later after this 2019 amendment, NIA also deals with the external security. Also, let's quickly go through Intelligence Bureau and Research and Analysis Wing. See, Intelligence Bureau, I have nothing much to say. It was established in 1887, which you don't need to remember. And Special Inquiry and Surveillance Unit in the IB handles most of the IB work. Next, Research and Analysis Wing. Its headquarters is in Delhi. It's not an independent agency. It is not an independent agency. It works under a wing of Cabinet Secretary. It is a wing under Cabinet Secretary. It was established in 1968 after post Indo-Pak and Sino-Indo War. It was established in 1968. Okay, under Prime Minister Office. Earlier, it used to external intelligence is used to be handled by Intelligence Bureau, but now external intelligence is being handled by RAW, tactical intelligence or day-to-day basis or strategic intelligence related to various contingencies are also dealt by RAW only. And the chief of RAW is Secretary Research in the Cabinet Secretary, and he is only answerable to Prime Minister and Joint Intelligence Committee. Okay, and he is outside the purview of RTI in 2005. Not liable to parliament matlab, unlike most of the government departments or ministries which are answerable to the parliamentary committees, RAW operates under a wheel of secrecy with no statutory charter, therefore making it exemptional of routine legislative oversight. Got it? Therefore, there is no direct parliamentary oversight and there is only executive control. It works under the cabinet secretary, under the wing of cabinet secretary. Got it? We have Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. So, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, it was founded in the year of 1957, don't remember, and related to, it deals with anti-smuggling resources. And earlier, it used to deal with only gold smuggling. Now, currently, it deals with narcotics and other economic crimes too. It is under the Central Board of Excise and Controls, under the Ministry of Finance, of course, Ministry of Finance, and also trains investigating officers. Now, let us go through a quick overview. CBI, it was established in 1941. NIA, after Mumbai terror attack of 26 November 2008, it was established in 2008 under NIA Act of 2008. And these foundation years, don't remember. Next, focus. See, NIA, okay, CBI, NIA, and IB, Central Bureau of Investigation, investigating agency, terrorism related. See, CBI, which activities other than terrorism, anything. Terrorism, NIA. Information Bureau, about domestic investigation. Therefore, they all deal with internal matter, but this external clause, it was added, we have seen, right? After 2019 amendment, external security also comes under National Investigating Agency. I'll write after 2019 amendment. Okay. So it primarily deals with the internal, but specific external also, yes, specific externals. We know, right? Basically, research and analysis wing, it focuses on strategic intelligence. External strategic intelligence is done by RAW, but CBI, to certain specific external focus would be transactional criminal justice and tracking of fugitives or Interpol intelligence crimes. These activities are dealt by CBI. Certain specific external crimes like Interpol intelligence crimes, and other transactional criminal justice and tracking fugitives are dealt by CBI. But yeah, CBI, NIA, and IB mostly deal with internal and external too after 2019 amendment, whereas RAW deals with external. Matlab, RAW agents go outside India, you remember, therefore RAW external. And whereas a Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, yes, with both internal and external related. It is related to money laundering, so both internal and external. Okay, state's prior permission, is it required? State prior permission, yes, it is required, but it can be bypassed if Supreme Court or High Court issue an order. And next, what about National Investigating Agency? No, it deals with terrorism. It do not require state prior permission. What about Intelligence Bureau, RAW, and Directorate of Revenue Intelligence? CIB, basically, it's doing information analysis. Therefore, state prior permission is not required. It is just doing information analysis, and it do not have any police powers. And it all deals with the domestic intelligence, internal. What about RAW and DRI? RAW is an external agency. Therefore, it do not require state permission. Why would it require? Directorate of Revenue Intelligence? No, it do not require. It is dealing with money laundering activities. It works under whom? It's very important. NIA, terrorism related, therefore Ministry of Home Affairs under Department of Internal Security. Intelligence Bureau, it also comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. Also remember that Intelligence Bureau is also a member of JIC. What is JIC? Joint Intelligence Committee. Intelligence Bureau is also a member of Joint Intelligence Committee, and it comes under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay. Ministry of Home Affairs, you remember, it's National Investigating Agency and Information Bureau. What about CBI? CBI and the CVC, if you remember, we studied that it comes under Ministry of Personal, Public and Grievances. Ministry of Personal, Public Grievances and Pensions. And that is CBI. What about RAW? What about RAW? RAW comes under the PMO, Prime Minister Office. We have seen, right? RAW comes under PMO. Under the wing of Cabinet Secretary, it comes under PMO, Prime Minister Office. It was created after Indo-Pak and Sino-Indo War. Okay. And it is also a member of Joint Intelligence Committee. Both IB and RAW are members of Joint Intelligence Committee. What about DRA, Department of Directorate of Revenue Intelligence? It comes under Ministry of Finance, under Central Board of Excise and Customs. मतलब Department of Revenue, Central Board of Excise and Customs. Simply remember it comes under Ministry of Finance. See, NIA, Ministry of Home Affairs, NIA and IB, they come under Ministry of Home Affairs. NIA and IB come under Ministry of Home Affairs, okay? And NIA deals with both internal and external, whereas IB deals only with external, only with internal, domestic intelligence, मतलब internal. NIA, both internal and external. Terrorism can happen in India or along the borders also. It deals with both internal and external. RAW, it is external. Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. Money laundering can happen both in India and abroad. Therefore, both. And what about CBI? It is primarily internal, but certain specific criminal activities should also be investigated. Therefore, specific external activities, yes. That is about internal and external. And next, states prior permission. CBI, it requires usually, but if a Supreme Court, High Court directs, then no, it do not require state consent. NIA, terrorism related, do not require state consent. IB is a domestic intelligence, मतलब information analysis, it do not require state consent. RAW, RAW, research and analysis wing. No, RAW agents, they are working for India externally. मतलब they go outside. Why do they require state consent? No. What about Directorate of Revenue Intelligence? Do they require state consent? No. Money laundering related. I do not require state consent. Next, work under. CBI works on CBI and CVC, they work under Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. What about NIA and IB? They work under Ministry of Home Affairs. What about RAW? RAW is Research and Analysis, right? It works under PMO Office under Cabinet Secretary. What about Directorate of Revenue Intelligence? It works under Ministry of Finance, Department of Revenue, Central Board of Excise and Customs. Now let us see Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog, it's an executive body headed by Prime Minister. Prime Minister and other members is Vice Chairman, CEO and Governing Council. Okay, so Niti Aayog is an executive body headed by the Prime Minister, and Prime Minister is the one who is going to appoint Vice Chairman and CEO, and the number of members, it's not fixed, and Niti Aayog, the members work for the pleasure of Prime Minister, and the members are not fixed, and it comes under the Ministry of Planning. It's a think tank. It's not a statutory body, it is non-statutory, and non-constitutional को हम ये भी बोलते हैं, extra constitutional. Okay, think tank, and it has no power to allocate funds. Niti Aayog has no powers to allocate funds. Got it? NDMA मतलब National Disaster Management Authority. NDMA, it also comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. As I said, Ministry of Home Affairs में क्या क्या आती है अब तो पता होगा. National Investigating Agency, it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. NHRC also comes under Ministry of Home Affairs, under NHRC State Human Rights. And next Intelligence में और क्या क्या देखा हमने NIA के साथ साथ Intelligence Bureau, it also comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. Now we are having NDMA. NDMA, it's a statutory body under Disaster Management Act of 2005. It's a statutory body and it is headed by the Prime Minister, and it can have up to maximum of 9 members. देखना मैंने ऐसे याद किया कि Disaster Management Act 2005, इसको 2 into 5 10 करूंगी तो 1 plus 9 हो गया. Okay, ये एक तो चेयरमैन ही होगा, तो C plus 9 members, तो Prime Minister and maximum 9 members appointed by the Prime Minister. This is about NDMA. RTI का भी ऐसे याद कर सकते हैं ना. RTI Act of 2005, 2005 को हम करेंगे 2 into 5 10, हो गया 10. देखो 2 यही है ना. मैंने तो ऐसे याद किया कि मतलब सी इट्स द सेम ना. आई टुक दिस वन, और यू कैन आल्सो टेक 2 into 5 equal to 10. ओह बट इट हैज 11 ना. अरे रे, ओह तो ये लॉजिक काम नहीं करेगा. ये यहाँ से एक उठा लेना. CIC में IB है ना, तो 10 plus 1 11. हाँ हाँ, ओके. नाउ वी आर हैविंग NDMA 2 into 5 10, therefore 1 plus 9 करेंगे इसको. NDMA, Prime Minister nominated by members. Prime Minister is nominated by Prime Minister nominates members, because the members obviously they are going to work for the pleasure of Prime Minister, I guess, because and therefore the term period of NDMA 2005 है, term period 5 years है. सही बात है ना. लेकिन इन्फॉर्मेशन में ऐसे नहीं है. RTI में CVC से हमने नहीं CIC है ना, ये CC है, तो टर्म पीरियड सेंटर फिक्स करेगी, और स्टेट के लिए भी सेंटर ही फिक्स करेगी, स्टेट इन्फॉर्मेशन कमीशन के लिए भी. लेकिन यहाँ पे ऐसे नहीं है. 2005, सो टर्म पीरियड इज 5 years. Okay. And yeah, NDMA disaster, it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. It makes policies for disaster management. See, one thing you need to remember is that they do not work under the pleasure of Prime Minister, unlike Niti Aayog. Why? Niti Aayog is an executive body. Therefore, the members are working for the pleasure of Prime Minister. But the same thing, it's not applicable here. I mean, their tenure. See here, the tenure is not fixed. Why? Because they are working for pleasure of PM. But no, here the tenure is fixed for NDMA. PM is the head, but their tenure is fixed 5 years. And where is it fixed? It's fixed in the Disaster Management Act of 2005. This act provides for 5 years. Therefore, they do not work for the pleasure of Prime Minister. Remember this. Niti Aayog, yes, members work for the pleasure of Prime Minister, and NDMA comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. What are we seeing? National Green Tribunal. NGT, statutory body. Yes, it's a statutory body. Under which act? NGT comes under नेशनल ग्रीन ट्रिब्यूनल्स एक्ट ऑफ 2010. 2010 है, तो इसका मतलब क्या? 2 × 0 करेंगे तो 0 आ जाएगा, तो हम ये नहीं कर सकते. सो देयरफॉर व्हाट, वी कैन नॉट मल्टीप्लाई बट वी कैन डिवाइड ना. 10/2 करेंगे, 5 years है, तो इसका मतलब टेन्योर इज 5 years एंड दे cannot be reappointed. Why? Because the green tribunal environment related है, सेंसिटिव है ना, तो रीअपॉइंटमेंट नहीं होगी. देखना, हम बाद में देखेंगे रीअपॉइंटमेंट कहाँ पे होगी, कहाँ पे नहीं होगी. यूजुअली कहाँ पे, जहाँ पे सेंसिटिव है वहाँ पे रीअपॉइंटमेंट नहीं होगी. Okay, National Green Tribunal, they are appointed for 5 years and there is no reappointment. And President, in consultation with Chief Justice of India, is going to appoint a National Green members of National Green Tribunal. The chairperson, usually term period is 5, but it consists of 2010 से 10 उठाएंगे, तो chairperson plus 10 to 20 judicial expert members. Okay, National Green Tribunal हो गया. Yeah, Green Tribunal, therefore it comes under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. It is a specialized environmental body and it's not found in CPC. And it follows principles of natural justice. Stegna, NGT, that is very important. It follows principle of natural justice. You know principle of natural justice and procedure established by law, right? Procedure established by law में सिर्फ procedure को follow करते हैं, लेकिन ड्यू प्रोसेस ऐसा है कि इसमें प्रिंसिपल ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस को कंसिडर करते हैं हम. अगर सिर्फ रूल्स को नहीं फॉलो करेंगे, इसमें सिर्फ रूल्स को फॉलो करते हैं, लेकिन ड्यू प्रोसेस में सिर्फ रूल्स को फॉलो करेंगे नहीं करेंगे. वो रूल अगर अनलॉफुल है तो under principle of natural justice, so that rule or law shall be declared invalid. That is how NGT operates. It works on the principle of natural justice, and it has statutory backing under NGT Act of 2010. Its tenure, the members are fixed for 5 years only. The members can work for only 5 years, and they are not eligible for reappointment. And the President, in consultation with Chief Justice of India, appoints chairman and 10 to 20 judicial expert members. What about Delimitation Commission? Delimitation Commission, it is a statutory body. That means it must be getting statutory basis from some act. But do you know what that act is? No, I don't know. Why? See, Delimitation Commission, it is established under Delimitation Commission Act, which Parliament must enact after every census. Therefore, we do not have specific date, time. Therefore, I am not writing anything here. It is established under Delimitation Commission Act, which Parliament must enact after every census, as per Article 82 and 170 of the Constitution. What is Article 82 and 170 that I am saying? Article 82. It provides framework for delimitation, matlab readjustment of seats of Lok Sabha in the Parliament chapter. You will know Article 82 and Article 82. Okay, 170 actually. Composition of state of legislative assembly, that is in Article 170, that deals with delimitation commission in the states. Okay, anyways, so it's a statutory body. Delimitation commission is a statutory body. And next, what is a tenure? The commission will stay till it completes its task. It takes a census, I mean, it creates constituencies. Till then, it will be there until task completion, tenure. And what about the composition? It consists of chairman, CEC and SEC, Chief Election Commissioner and State Election Commissioner. And the chairman, he must be qualified to be a retired Supreme Court judge. Okay. Okay, and who is going to remove Delimitation Commission? It's as per the service rules. And Delimitation Commission comes under Ministry of Law and Justice. You know, Bar Commission of India and Delimitation Commission, they come under the Ministry of Law and Justice. Both Delimitation Commission, Bar Council of India, they come under Ministry of Law and Justice. And orders, they cannot be challenged in any court. Orders of Delimitation Commission, they cannot be challenged in any court. Got it? Delimitation Commission, does it have suo motu powers? That's the question. So see, Delimitation Commission cannot initiate a national-wide delimitation exercise on its own whim. However, it possesses significant independent authority once it's legally constituted. Okay, but anyways, it cannot exercise its own, national-wide delimitation exercise. It cannot exercise on its own whim. Got it? Therefore, no. My answer would be no. Anyways, after that 84th constitutional amendment, no new national-wide delimitation can be initiated until the first census figures are published after the year of 2026. Now, currently we are in 2026. So after this commission, the seats in the parliament and parliament is going to change. Let's see what's going to happen in 2026. Okay, Bar Council of India is a statutory body under Advocates Act of 1961. And it regulates laws, law colleges, etc. Now it is through Advocates Act of 1961. So I can say, I cannot say anything from this actually. But the term period of chairperson and vice chairperson is 2 years, whereas the term period of members from State Bar Council who are going to compose, who are in the Bar Council of India is 5 years. Well, let us first see composition and let's go through term period. Bar Council of India consists of chairperson and vice chairperson who are elected by council from among its members. This is chairperson and vice chairperson. And Bar Council of India also consists of ex officio members. Who are ex officio members? Advocate General of India, Attorney General of India and Solicitor General of India. They are the ex officio members. And Bar Council of India also has elected members. One elected member from each state bar council is going to be elected into the Bar Council of India. Okay. Chairperson, vice chairperson, ex officio members, elected members. Chairperson, vice chairperson elected by Bar Council of India. Ex officio members, that means Attorney General and Solicitor General. Chairperson, vice chairperson, Attorney General, Solicitor General, and elected members from each state bar council. This is the composition of Bar Council of India, and they are elected by council from among its members. And the term period of a chairperson, vice chairperson is 2 years, whereas the members who are coming from state bars of India, their composition is 5 years. And also, in total, if I need to tell how many members are there in Bar Council of India, there are total 10 members. 5 from a Bar Council of India, 5 from nominated ministers. Okay. See. This 10 members that I'm talking about, basically Bar Committee of India. There are several committees under Bar Committee of India. The important committees that I'm mentioning are Legal Education Committee. It consists of 10 members, 5 members from Bar Council of India and 5 members from nominated ministries. Got it? 5 members from Bar Council of India and 5 members from nominated ministries. Okay. And this Legal Education Committee elects its own chairman. Usually, what are the functions of Legal Education Committee? It prescribes the standard of legal education. And it inspects law colleges and gives certification, issues certificates to the law degrees, certification of law degrees, and it also conducts legal aid programs. And also, one more important exam is All India Bar Examination. All India Bar Examination is conducted by Legal Education Committee, which comes under Bar Council of India. Also, there is a Disciplinary Committee, which consists of 3 members. What are the functions of Disciplinary Committee? It maintains standards of professional conduct, professional ethics, and it hears appeals against the decisions of State Bar Council disciplinary committees. Okay. And this Bar Council of India can have 1 or more disciplinary committees. There is a executive committee also. It also has a chairman and executive chairman, etc. The main function of executive committee is generally to manage funds, accounts, and annual audit report. Got it? Why did I write question mark here? Okay. As I already said, what did I already say? I said that Delimitation Commission and Bar Council of India, they come under Ministry of Law and Justice. Bar Council of India, it must have suo motu powers to regulate law colleges and lawyers. It must have suo motu powers. Now let us see Interstate Council and Zonal Council. Interstate Council, it is a constitutional body under which article? You know, in the Central State Relation, you have already studied. It comes under Article 263. Got it? What does Article 263 say? It says that it provides for the establishment of Interstate Council, Article 263. That's all. Okay. What is the composition of Interstate Council? It consists of Prime Minister, Chief Minister of States, UTs with legislature, and Administrator of UTs without legislature, and Governors of CCC. Prime Minister, Vice Chairman पोजीशन में कौन होगा? मतलब प्राइम मिनिस्टर के बाद कौन हो सकता है? चीफ मिनिस्टर. इंटरस्टेट काउंसिल्स में. ओके. चीफ मिनिस्टर ऑफ स्टेट्स एंड स्टेट्स के लिए ही चीफ मिनिस्टर नहीं होगा, और किसके लिए होगा? यूटीज विद लेजिस्लेचर. चीफ मिनिस्टर्स ऑफ स्टेट एंड यूटीज विद लेजिस्लेचर. And what about governors and administrators? Yes, administrators of UTs without legislature, and governor of states under president rule. The governor of states under president rule and the administrators of UTs without legislature, they are going to be there in the interstate council. One question, I have a doubt always. Who is administrator, who is governor, and who is lieutenant governor? So remember Lakshya and D. Lakshya D. So Lakshya D, administrator. Okay. Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli are going to have administrators, and administrators are in UT without legislature, and in UT with legislature it is Delhi, Puducherry, Jammu and Kashmir. You know Delhi, Puducherry, Jammu and Kashmir, right? They are UTs with legislative assembly. That is why in parliament topic you have studied them, you have included them. 28 states and 3 union territories. Therefore, you are going to have lieutenant governor, not governor. And next, if it is UT without legislature, it's going to be the administrator, and it's in Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. They are both got merged. So Lakshadweep, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu. See, it is not just Lakshadweep, it is actually LCD. Remember LCD? Lakshadweep, Chandigarh, and Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. They are going to have they are having administrator. Administrator is usually in UT without legislature, and Lakshadweep, Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, they are having administrators. Whereas with UTs with legislative assembly, it's Delhi, Puducherry, and Jammu and Kashmir. You already know. But there are other UTs without legislature. They also have lieutenant governor. For example, Andaman and Nicobar, Ladakh, and I mean they do not come under this. They come under UT without legislative assembly only. But Andaman and Nicobar, Ladakh, they are also having lieutenant governor. They are also having lieutenant governor. Okay. So Article 263 mentions about Interstate Council. Therefore, Interstate Council is a constitutional body. There we should have discussed actually, but I want to discuss along with Zonal Council to avoid confusion. That is why I am discussing this constitutional body here along with non-constitutional. Okay. Next, Prime Minister. It consists of Prime Minister, Chief Ministers of States and UTs with legislature, and administrators of UTs without legislature, and governors of state under President rule. They are going to be the members of interstate council. Okay. Interstate council and zonal council, they are advisory bodies. Therefore, we know if they are advisory bodies, they must be having suo motu powers, but no, this is an exemption. Interstate council and zonal councils, they are advisory, but they do not have suo motu powers. Now, zonal councils. Zonal councils, it was established by an act, Statutory Reorganization Act 1956. Therefore, zonal council is a statutory body. Zonal councils are established under Part 3 of State Reorganization Act 1956, and zonal councils are also advisory bodies. India is having 5 zones. Okay, therefore, 5 zonal councils, and the common head of the 5 zonal councils is the Home Minister. Home Minister is the common chairman, and who is going to be the vice chairman of this zonal council? It is the chief minister on rotation basis is going to be the vice chairman, and 2 ministers from each state of the zone. There are total 5 zones, as I said. 2 ministers from each state of the zone are going to be members of zonal councils, and administrators of UTs are also members of zonal councils. So before heading into zonal council, I forgot to tell something about interstate council actually. See, the intergovernmental council, interstate council is also called intergovernmental council after the recommendation of Sarkaria Commission in 1988, and later this interstate council was established by the Janata Dal government. It was established by Janata Dal government in VP Singh in 1990. Okay, and as I said, the composition: Chief Minister of States with and UTs with legislature, administrators of UTs without legislature, and Governor of State under President rule. Other than that, it also consists of 6 cabinet ministers, including the Home Minister. 6 cabinet ministers. It consists of 6 cabinet minister. In the 6 cabinet minister, 1 person is Home Minister and other ministers, 5 other ministers. Okay, these 5 ministers must be of cabinet rank or ministers independent of charge. Must be of cabinet rank or minister independent of charge, and they are nominated by the Prime Minister. These 5 members, they are nominated by the Prime Minister, and their rank must be equivalent to a cabinet rank or minister independent of charge, and they are the permanent invitees. They are permanent invitees. And this interstate council is required to meet at least 3 times in a year, and a permanent standing committee was established in 1996. Permanent standing committee was established in 1996, and an interstate council secretariat was formed in 1991 to support this council's function. So you remember that in 1991 and in 1996. In 1991 there was this interstate. So in 1991 interstate council secretariat was formed to support the council's function, and in 1996 permanent standing committee was established to support this interstate council. If you want to know the composition, I think is not required, but if you want to know this permanent standing committee, the chairperson is Union Home Minister, and 5 Union cabinet ministers nominated by the Home Minister. I'll write it here. Home Minister, 5 Union cabinet ministers nominated by the Prime Minister, and 9 chief ministers, they are also nominated by Prime Minister. This is a composition of permanent standing committee. And when it comes to interstate council, it is headed by the Secretary to Government of India. Headed by the Secretary to Government of India. So this interstate council secretariat, the secretary is assisted by 2 advisors, additional secretary rank, and some directors and other officials also. Okay. And one more thing, the role of interstate council secretariat was expanded from in 2011, so that this secretariat can also perform the secretarial functions of zonal councils, which were previously handled by the Ministry of Home Affairs. Got it? But anyways, the zonal councils are still very active, and let's see zonal councils. Also, the zonal council consists of some people without right to vote. Example, Niti Aayog nominee. Niti Aayog nominee, 1 person nominated by Niti Aayog for each council, and they are non-voting advisors. So each zonal council includes the following individuals as advisors. Each zonal council, who are they? Niti Aayog nominee, chief secretaries, and development commissioners. They are non-voting advisors to each zonal council. Okay. Shall we try to recall what are the 5 zones in the zonal council? Okay, let's try to recall. Whatever is remaining, it will be in the north. Okay, so don't try to remember. Okay, if you want to remember also, it's very easy. See, north mein to kya hai? Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh. So first, in north, we are going to have Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh. And next, what can you see here? You can notice Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh. Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh. Next, Haryana, Punjab ke beech mein kya hai? Chandigarh hai. I'm going to write Chandigarh. And next, there is also National Capital Territory of Delhi, NCT Delhi है. और क्या है? राजस्थान भी आती है, नॉर्थन जोनल काउंसिल में राजस्थान भी आती है. ठीक है, जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, लद्दाख, पंजाब, हरियाणा, हिमाचल प्रदेश, चंडीगढ़, दिल्ली, राजस्थान, दे कम अंडर नॉर्थन जोनल काउंसिल. ओके, सेंटर में क्या है? सेंटर में अम्ब्रेला है. अम्ब्रेला. सो व्हाट इज द ट्रिक टू रिमेंबर? कैच माई अम्ब्रेला अंकल. कैच माई अम्ब्रेला अंकल. सो इट इज It is what? C for Chhattisgarh. So there is Chhattisgarh this side, Chhattisgarh. This is Madhya Pradesh in the middle, and UP. Uttar Pradesh is also here. Chhattisgarh, UP, Madhya Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand. So Chhattisgarh, UP, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand, UP. They constitute Central Zonal Council. Catch my umbrella, uncle. Now Northeastern Zone. Northeast is very easy to remember. Sikkim, seven sisters plus Sikkim. Seven sisters plus Sikkim. Okay. Seven sisters. Who are the seven sisters? You know, Arunachal, Assam. Next, Meghalaya, Manipur. See, you know, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh. And then remember this Tripura, Mizoram, Nagaland, and Manipur. That belt. And after that belt, I am able to recall Meghalaya. That's it. Assam, Arunachal, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura. See, Arunachal, Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, and Sikkim. This is Northeast Zonal Council. Southern Council, in South, all kids keep talking to parents. That is Southern. All kids keep talking to parents. All kids keep talking to parents. So, ये मतलब Andhra Pradesh, and there is Karnataka and Kerala. We have Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Puducherry. Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, even without trick, it's very easy. Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, another T, Telangana, मतलब Andhra Pradesh, Telangana. Okay. Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry. Okay. And about West. Western dramas. You know Western dramas? Good guys make dinner, not dramas. Good guys make dinner, not dramas. Good guys make dinner, not dramas. So G, it's Gujarat. Gujarat, we are having Gujarat, Goa, Maharashtra, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, they both are same. And then that's it. This is all the same. D and D. Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. So Gujarat, Goa, Maharashtra, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, they constitute Western Zonal Council. North, it's Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Punjab, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Chandigarh, Delhi, Rajasthan. Northern Zonal Council. Northeast Zonal Council, Sikkim plus seven sisters. Seven sisters has Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura. Catch my umbrella, uncle, in the middle. What is this? Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand. And Southern Zonal Council, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala. Next, Tamil Nadu, Puducherry. And this, good guys make dinner, not dramas. So Gujarat, Goa, Maharashtra, Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Okay. This Zonal Council is a statutory body established under Part 3 State Reorganization Act of 1956. Also, both Interstate Council and Zonal Council, they are advisory bodies, but they have also they do not have suo motu powers. Some minority committees that you need to remember is our National Commission for Women को याद रखना 1992 पहले महिला आती है 1992 नेशनल कमीशन फॉर वुमेन एक्ट 1990 वुमेन के बाद लेकिन इसका स्टैट्यूटरी प्रोविजन मिला 1992 में मतलब एस्टैब्लिशमेंट शायद 1992 में हुआ 1990 में एक्ट बना टाइम तो लगेगा तो 1992 में एस्टैब्लिश हुआ एंड देन 1992 में क्या है माइनॉरिटीज वुमेन के बाद माइनॉरिटीज नेशनल कमीशन माइनॉरिटी एक्ट ऑफ 1992 after 1 year it was established a national commission of minorities and after that in 2005 finally bache national commission for protection of child rights 2005 okay don't remember it as 2 into 5 please just remember that 2 plus 5 7 so it has 7 members and this is the same for other minority bodies also all the minority bodies 7 members just remember 7 members like it has chief chairperson vice chairperson and 5 members any body it's a chairperson vice chairperson and 5 members and they are going to be presided by the president. Got it? And the term period is 3 years but up to मतलब term period is 3 years but up to retirement age क्या है children के लिए chairperson it's 65 and for other members it is 60. Okay, just remember NCW National Commission of Women Act of 1990 minorities after 2 years it's a 1992 and child rights it's in 2005 and among the 5 members at least one must be SC or ST in this National Commission for Women. Since they are minority groups, they have suo motu powers. Let's see this tea board and turmeric board in the last and let's try to revise, let's try to recall if they are having reappointment or future employment. Let's try to guess, right? What about GST Council? First, we are starting with GST Council. You know, it was established under Article 279A. Let's try to parallelly recall term period and also composition if possible. Okay, it will be a good exercise. Term period, see article, term period, composition, that's all. And reappointment and future employment. Okay, GST Council first. Article 279A. Article 279A. And did we discuss any term period and composition for GST Council? No. So leave it. And what about reappointment and future employment? Reappointment and future employment, yes, they are eligible for reappointment and also future employment anywhere else. Why not? And the next body is UPSC. Now I'm asking you about UPSC. We have finished GST Council. No, no, not UPSC. After GST Council, it's Election Commission of India. Now I'm asking about Election Commission of India. Under which article? It's under Article 324. So therefore, what's the term period? 6 or 65. And what's the composition? Of course, ECI is a 3-member body appointed by Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, Union Cabinet Minister, nominated by the Prime Minister. Got it? Appointed by the President on the recommendation of this body. We have discussed the term. We have discussed the term period, article, term period, and the composition of ECI, and who is appointing ECI. Great. Now, what about the reappointment and future employment? Election Commission of India, they can be reappointed, and also there is future employment. I'm wrong. Why? See, elections. Now remember this. Wherever you find that that body is sensitive, the such body, such chairperson, he or she must not be reappointed. Therefore, they are not allowed for second term. Second term is also called reappointment, and Election Commission of India, there is no reappointment. But yes, he can have office somewhere else. Future employment is possible, but there is no reappointment. That is about Election Commission of India. And removal. Why are we discussing removal? But yes, removal, it is similar to Supreme Court judge, whereas other members based upon the recommendation of CEC. Now, UPSC and state PSC. Come on, let's try. UPSC Article 315 to Article 323. Article 315 to Article 323. Therefore, what is the term period? It's 6 or 65 for UPSC, and 6 or 62. 6 or 62 for state PSC. And is it mentioned in the Constitution? Yes, it's mentioned in the Constitution, this term period. But what about the term period of ECI? It is not mentioned in the Constitution. Next. And we have discussed the term. Now we need to discuss the number of members, the composition. UPSC and state PSC, it has chairperson plus 9 to 11 members, around 9 to 11 members. Got it? And it is he or she is appointed by the president and removed by the president, both UPSC and state PSC. Actually, for state PSC, for UPSC and state PSC, for state PSC, appointment is by the governor, but removal is to the president. Now, what about okay, he or she, are they eligible for reappointment and future employment? This is the catch. Chairman of UPSC, it's a sensitive topic. It is a sensitive body. Why it's a sensitive body? Because UPSC, it's a national-wide exam, and he or she can also appoint relatives. Or if future employment somewhere else is possible, he or she might try to favor that candidate. Therefore, there is no reappointment and future employment for UPSC and state PSC. But here is the catch. This is only for chairperson, not for the other members. Other members, they are eligible to be reappointed as chairman. Here also, they are eligible. They are not allowed to say they are not allowed for future employment and reappointment. Chairperson is not allowed, but chairperson is allowed to be chairman of other state PSC and also to be chairman of UPSC. That is allowed for chairman of state PSC. And what about the salary? Salary, no, I did not discuss salary. Salary is a made on expenditure for the ECI. It's very important. But it's UPSC and state PSC, they are the constitutional bodies. Therefore, it is charged on expenditure on the consolidated fund of India or state. Now let's go to the next. What is the next? What is this? It's for no. Now I'm asking about Finance Commission. Finance Commission, Article 280. What is the term period? Remember, term period, I already said, Arvind Panagaria, 16th Finance Commission, from 26 to 31, 5 years. But last year, it was for 6 years. That means term period was is a variable. Therefore, the term period is variable and it's fixed by the president. Term period ho gaya. Ab kya? Finance composition. Finance 5, F for 5, right? F for 5. Therefore, 5-member body. And 5-member body, chairperson plus other members. Who is going to appoint and who is going to remove? Parliament is, president is going to appoint and president is going to remove. And the qualifications of a finance commission are not in the constitution. They are in the FC Act of 1991. I think it's FC Act of 1951. Sorry, FC Act of 1951. It talks about the qualifications of to be members of finance commission. Now, reappointment and future employment. It is related to finance. You can be reappointed or future employment is also there. Not that sensitive. Whereas UPSC and state PSC and elections, they are very sensitive. Therefore, reappointment is not allowed. But but for elections, there is a future employment. Other than elections, come on, you can do, if you want to work in some corporate, yes, you can. Who is stopping you? But UPSC, state PSC, no, you can do favors for them. Therefore, future employment is also not possible. Finance, there is nothing like that. There is reappointment and future employment also. Now let's see for what's the next? It's a controller and auditor general. Now let's discuss controller and auditor general. Okay. CAG, which article? Remember 148. 148. Okay. 148. Got it. Term period. See, term period, it's mentioned in what? It's mentioned in CAG Act of 1971. CAG Act of 1971 under Article 149, Parliament by Law, CAG Act of 1971. This mentions about term period. What's the term period? 7 minus 1, 6. 6 or 65 is the term period of CAG. And what's the composition of CAG? Is an independent, he is a person. Therefore, there is no composition. And now, reappointment and future employment. Come on, CAG is such a sensitive body that he is auditing accounts of public corporations, government corporations, parliamentary committees. Therefore CAG he cannot be reappointed, and मतलब reappointment इसीलिए नहीं है क्योंकि वो decisions ऐसा लेगा future government के लिए ले सकता है. So there is no provision of reappointment, and also there is no provision of a future employment. Therefore he is a very strong person. He must be a very strong person, right? Therefore his removal, it is similar to Supreme Court judge. Removal similar to Supreme Court judge. Till now we have seen it for Election Commission of India, Chairperson of Election Commission of India, and Controller and Auditor General. And their removal is similar to Supreme Court judge. So CAG, because there is no removal, there is no provision for reappointment, and also there is no provision for future employment. Got it? He must dedicate himself to parliament only, auditing and accounts only. There is no reappointment and future employment to CAG. Now let's see Attorney General of India and Advocate General of India. Come on, they work for the pleasure of president or governor. Therefore, even if the president removes them in future or government removes them, they can be again reappointed, or there is a possibility of they can also do future employment somewhere else. Okay, so reappointment and future employment is allowed. Which article? Attorney General of India under Article 76. Advocate General of India, it's in Article 165. Attorney General and Advocate General. Remember. 76, if you remember, it's easy to remember. Advocate General of State. Control and Auditor General, it's Article 148. Okay. What about the term period? Term period, see, they are working for the pleasure of president or governor, so they do not have a fixed term period, and there is no composition also. Now, special officers for linguistic minorities, I have already said there is no term period or composition mentioned. He is just an officer, and also it's for linguistic minorities. Minorities, I already said there is reappointment and future employment. Now, okay, special officer for linguistic minorities under which article? It's under Article 350B. Which act introduced this 350B? 7th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1956. Now, National Commission for SC, ST and OBC. SC, it's Article 330. ST, it's Article 338A. And BC, it's Article 338B. ST, it is A. ST, SC, confused mat hona hai. For SC, it's a normal, and ST, it is 338A. Next, what about the term period and composition? Term period for SC, ST, OBC. Okay, let me try to remember. Term period 338 hai na? 3 both, it's coming many times. Therefore, term period is 3, and it's usually 3, but it is determined by the president. What about composition? I remember chairperson, vice chairperson, and 3 other members. Okay, and for ST, I remember that this total there are 5 members, right? So in this 5 members, at least 1 member must be women for NCST. At least 1 member must be women, and 3 members must be STs. And what about future employment and reappointment? See, STs is little bit sensitive. Therefore, reappointment, but the term period is so small, right? Therefore, reappointment is possible up to max 2 terms, matlab 6 years. Okay, till up to 2 terms, NCSC, NCST, NCBC, up to 2 terms they can be reappointed. And also, even if they are not reappointed, even if they resign or they remove, they have chance for future employment also. Oh, come on, future employment is there. They are minorities, so usko hum future employment ko opportunity denge. Do you remember under which article, under which amendment this 338 A and B were introduced in the Constitution? 338A under 89th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2003, and 338B 102nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 2018. Okay. Did we miss anything in the constitutional body? I think we have missed a joint state PSC. The term, okay, they are also the same like at UPSC. I mean, what is see, UPSC state PSC chairperson, they are not allowed for reappointment and future employment. So similarly for joint state PSC also, they are not allowed for reappointment and future employment because they are sensitive. But anyways, since it is state, that chairperson can become chairperson of other state PSC and UPSC. That is about joint state PSC. Also, we have missed one more, Solicitor General of India, similar to Attorney or Advocate General of India. But one thing is that their term period is fixed. It's fixed for 3 years. They do not work for the pleasure of president. And who appoints them? It is central government. I think it's appointed by appointment ACC, Appointment Committee of Cabinet appoints Solicitor General of India. And their term period, it is given in Conditions of Service Act of 1968. So can they have future employment and reappointment? See, think of Attorney General of India. Do they have future employment and reappointment? Yes. Therefore, it is S for Solicitor General also. They also can have future employment and reappointment. Now let us look into non-constitutional bodies. First one would be National Human Rights and State Human Rights. They come under Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay. National Human Rights Commission. Human Rights Commission, bahut badi hai. Therefore, they have 13 members. Actually, I remember this 1993. I have taken this 1 and 3, it became 13. Last 2 को मैं लेकर रहती हूँ. 13 को मैंने क्या किया? See, remember 1993, it's 1 3 13. So it's 1 plus 5 plus 7, and यहाँ से मैंने 3 को लिया और यहाँ से मैंने 7 को लिया. Therefore term period is 3 or 70, and the composition is 3 plus मतलब chairperson, 5 full-time members and 7 ex officio members. Okay, this is the composition. 5 full-time members, one must be Supreme Court judge. Okay, I'll write it again. 1993, 1 and 3, therefore it's 1 plus 5 plus 7, and term period is 3 or 70, and as I said, these are 5 full-time members. Chairperson must be a retired Chief Justice of India or a Supreme Court judge. The 5 full-time members, one must be a retired Supreme Court or serving Supreme Court judge, and the second person would be retired or serving High Court Chief Justice, and the 3 other persons would be someone who has a special knowledge or experience in human rights. Among these 3, at least one must be woman. That is about 5 full-time members, and 7 from each minority commissions. We were taking 1 women, SC, ST, OBC, child rights, physically handicapped, minorities, etc. We were taking 1 So there's 7 full-time, 7 ex officio members. Now we have discussed the term period and composition. Right? Who appoints? NHRC and SHRC appointed by the president. What about salary? Salary, they are decided by the center or state. If it is a state SHRC, then the salary is decided by the state and they cannot be varied. If it is an NHRC, salary is decided by center. Always I try to remember in the same way. It's usually center or the state that is deciding the salary. Also, but for ECI and CAG, the salary is different. Why? Because their removal is similar to Supreme Court judge. Therefore, their salary must be equal to that of Supreme Court judge. But anyways, one thing in the election topic I have discussed with you, that the salary of Election Commission of India, if ever the question comes, it is decided by the president. Okay. But whereas if it is CAG, it is decided by the parliament. And the salary must be similar to Supreme Court judge. Okay, now we are discussing NHRC and SHRC. Don't divert. NHRC, SHRC is a 13-member body and the term period is 3 or 70. So are they eligible for reappointment and future employment? No. I mean, future reappointment, yes, because they serve as institutional memory. Anyhow, they cannot probe cases for more than 1 year, but they serve as institutional memory. Therefore, reappointment is possible. Future employment is not possible because human rights, they might try to take decisions to satisfy governments. Therefore, there is no future employment. Now, can I apply the same logic for CIC and SIC? First of all, is CIC a constitutional body or a statutory body? Come on, CIC and SIC, they are statutory bodies under RTA Act of 2005. Okay, RTA Act of 2005. Therefore, I can write 2 into 5, 10. 2005 है ना, 2 into 5, 10 करूँगी. 10, how can I write this 10? CCIC, I is similar to 1. Therefore, I'll write this as 10 plus 1. CCIC. Therefore, center is the one who fixes salary of CIC, and term period of CIC or SIC is fixed by the center, and the salary conditions etc. they are also fixed by center. See, बहुत बार आ रही है ना, इसलिए center ज़्यादा करेगी. And this number of members is 11. 11 मतलब 1 plus 10. Okay, 1 plus 10. No. Okay, RT Act of 2005, 10 plus 1. Okay, or else CIC. Now you know. Okay, who is going to appoint CIC and SIC? Of course, it is either president or governor by recommendation of a 3-member body consisting of prime minister, leader of opposition, and a member nominated by the prime minister. That's very easy. Now, let's discuss reappointment and future employment. Reappointment is not possible because, see, if reappointment is possible, then I might not enforce RTA against government to satisfy that government again. Such kind of issues might happen. Therefore, reappointment is not possible. But yeah, you can do future employment anywhere. That's possible. Future employment is possible. But reappointment into this again, see, future employment is possible because it's fine, but reappointment it's not possible because you might currently you might try to take decisions to please the government, future government. Therefore, reappointment is not possible. And RTI and chief in CIC and SIC, they come under Ministry of Personnel and Personal Public Grievances and Pensions. Remember this, it's difficult to remember that RTI, right to information, comes under Ministry of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions. ऐसे याद रखना कि पर्सनल पब्लिक ग्रीवेंसेस, पब्लिक ग्रीवेंसेस वो लोग ही आएंगे RTI फाइल करने के लिए. Therefore, it comes under Ministry of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions. Okay, and the removal is similar to a president removes them on the grounds of proven misbehavior or incapacity after Supreme Court inquiry. What about the CVC, CBI, ED, and NIA? CVC, CBI, both of them, CVC and CBI, both of them are established, are established after Santanam Resolution of 1964. Therefore, I can say that 1964 CBI के लिए, okay, CVC के लिए मैं क्या करूँगी? Okay, wait. 1964. I will take this 4. So term period is 4 or 65. 6 64. ये दोनों कोट होंगे ना. It's very easy because it's an advisory body, CVC. Therefore, I will take it as 4 or 65. This is for CVC. What about CBI? For CBI, I will do 6 minus 4. 1964 same center. I will do 6 minus 4. Therefore, term period is 2, but it is extendable up to 5 years. What about the composition? Of composition, okay. CVC, CBI, CVC, there are 3. Therefore, it's a 3-member body, 3 letters. CBI is an executive body. The composition is not fixed. Okay, great. Who is generally the director or chairperson of CBI? Someone with IPS rank. Okay, great. Next question. Okay, you said that CVC or CBI, they are okay. CBI, you did not say anything, but CVC, you said that it's a 3-member body. So who is going to appoint? CVC is appointed by President on the recommendation of 3-member body consisting of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, and Home Minister. Great, great. Who is going to appoint CBI? It is also by the President on the recommendation of Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, and Chief Justice of India. But for CVC, it is appointed by the President on the recommendation of Home Minister. Okay, appointment dekh liya. And 3-member body, yes. CBI, I don't know. Now, from where does the CBI get its power? You said it's an executive body, right? It gets its power from Delhi Special Police Establishment Act of 1946. So when is CBI established? It was established somewhere in 1941. Okay, okay. Great. What about reappointment and future employment? See, all of them, they are eligible for reappointment, investigating agencies. But CVC, it's an advisory body. Therefore, it is not eligible for future employment. Future employment is not possible because it's very sensitive, investigating related. Therefore, advisory body, it must have a lot of information. Therefore, future employment is not eligible. It's not eligible. Rest of the bodies, future employment is eligible. They're eligible for future employment. Okay, okay. Removal. See, for CVC, president after Supreme Court inquiry. But other executive bodies, usually central government appoints. Therefore, central government is the one who removes executive body. Service rules. I mean, okay, this is about National Investigating Agency. This is about Enforcement Directorate. Now let us see Enforcement Directorate and National Investigating Agency. Yeah, reappointment and future employment is possible for them. They are one is a regulatory, matlab it's an executive body. But NIA, we have this NIA Act of 2008 after this November 2008 Mumbai attack. We had this NIA Act of 2008. Now let's see. Let's discuss Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is an advisory body. Of course, it can be reappointed and future employment is also there. He's the Prime Minister who is the head of the Niti Aayog. And composition, of course, Prime Minister and other members. Other members are nominated by Prime Minister. Okay, what about NDMA? NDMA, okay, it comes under Minister of Planning, Niti Aayog. NDMA, oh, term period you did not discuss for Niti Aayog. They work for the pleasure of Prime Minister, therefore there is no term period. But National Disaster Management Authority, which was established under Disaster Management Act of 2005, it has a term period. What's the term period? NDMA Act of 2005. Therefore, term period is 10 years. 10 years, chairperson is Prime Minister and maximum up to 9 members can be there. Maximum 9 members. Not 9 members exactly, but max 9 members. Okay, and who appoints other members? Of course, it's the Prime Minister. And what's the term period? See, NDMA Act 2005. 5 है ना, तो मैं term period को 5 बनाऊंगी. And this term period is mentioned in Disaster Management Act of 2005. And they do not work for the pleasure of Prime Minister. That is why I'm able to say a certain term period. And does it come under Ministry of Home Affairs? Yes. See, disaster, central vigilance, they come under Ministry of Home Affairs. CVC also comes under Ministry of Home Affairs, I guess. No, CVC and CBI, they come under Ministry of Personnel. The National Investigating Agency, it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. Disaster Management, it comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. And this body, National Human Rights Commission, this also comes under Ministry of Home Affairs. Now, what are we seeing? NGT, National Green Tribunal. Under which act? 2010, NGT Act 2010. That means it consists of term period. Term period क्या है? 5 years है. 2010 है ना? So 10 by 2, 5. Term period is 5. And composition, it consists of chairperson plus 10 to 20 judicial expert members. And they're appointed by the president in consultation with Chief Justice of India. President appoints NGT. Okay. NGT works on principle of natural justice. It might try to favor the government. Therefore, there is no provision of reappointment, but there is future employment. NGT, of course, other than environment. If in environment, if you want to work anywhere else, you can go and work. So that is about NGT. And after NGT, I think we saw Delimitation Commission and Bar Council. Delimitation and Bar Council, they come under Ministry of Law and Justice. After here, I think we are not discussing much about eligibility for reappointment and future employment. See, first of all, Delimitation Commission, they are going to stay till they perform their delimitation exercise. Therefore, such kind of thing is not applicable for Delimitation Commission. Members, Bar Council of India, they are elected, okay. They are not appointed, first of all. Bar Council of India, if I'm talking, they are elected and they are not appointed. Therefore, if you're talking reappointment, that is not applicable. But if you're talking re-elected, yes, they can be re-elected, subject to Bar Council of India rules. And future employment also, I think future employment is still there. Okay. See, and again, talking about reappointment and future employment for interstate and zonal council also do not make sense. Why? Because prime minister is the head or home minister is the head, and they continue to hold they continue to constitute this office until they serve as ministers. So that logic also doesn't apply for interstate and zonal council. Okay. And what next? I think a minority committees we need to see. Great. See, for women and I think this is women, and this is minorities, and this is children. And for women, it is usually for 2 terms. Okay, women also for 2 terms they can be reappointed, but after these 2 terms they cannot be reappointed. But yes, future employment is there for everyone. Future employment is there. They can go and work anywhere else. But for reappointment, it's only for 2 times for women and children. What about minorities? Yes, there is a chance for reappointment and also future employment. See, some previous year questions were asked on T board. Okay, T board, it's a statutory body under T Act 1953. It's a regulatory body attached to the Ministry of Agriculture, Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Okay, Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. And head office of T board head office is in Bangalore, actually, not Calcutta. It's in Bangalore. No, 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 no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's in Kolkata only. T. West Bengal T. Do you remember West Bengal? West T for T. Okay. Headquarters of Tea Board is in Calcutta, and it comes under. Oh no, it do not come under Ministry of Agriculture. See, it comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. That's the trap actually. These are the traps. It comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, not under the Agriculture. And it's a tea board is situated in Calcutta. You can remember West T for Calcutta, West Bengal. Okay. And next, it has various offices in Moscow, Dubai, etc. It has offices in foreign countries also. If they are asking you about coffee board is in Calcutta. Coffee board, it's in not in Calcutta, it's in Bengaluru. Okay, Bengaluru people, they drink coffee a lot, cold coffee. So Bengaluru is famous for coffee. Headquarter of coffee board is in Bengaluru. Okay, rubber board, if they are asking you, rubber board, it's in Kottayam of Kerala. Kottayam, Kerala. Rubber. Kerala, rubber. Spices, if they're asking you spices, spices board, it's in Kerala only, Kochi. Tobacco. Oh, tobacco, come on. Tobacco, I know very well. It's in Gunturu. Tobacco. Headquarter of tobacco is in Guntur. So these are some of the statutory autonomous body. All these 5 that I said, tea board ho gaya, coffee board, rubber, spices, tobacco, they all come under Ministry of Commerce. All of them, they come under Ministry of Commerce only. Got it? This is a UPSC previous year question on this. Under which ministry they come? They come under Ministry of Commerce. Now turmeric board. So if you are asking for turmeric board, is it a statutory body? No, it's not a statutory body. It was constituted by a government notification. So not a statutory body, It was constituted by a government notification, and it also comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry only. And it's a turmeric headquarter is in Telangana. Headquarter of turmeric board is in Telangana. Okay, Nizamabad of Telangana. In 2024 only there was a question कि India produces over 75 to 80% of global turmeric, and it accounts for more than 60% of the world trade, and the top producers of turmeric is currently Maharashtra, followed by Telangana. Of course, Telangana is the headquarter, but the top producer of turmeric is Maharashtra. You can remember it like Hindi TV serials in Maharashtra, heroines, I mean, you see them with lot of turmeric, okay, something like that. So turmeric board leading state is Maharashtra. India grows around 30 varieties of turmeric. Okay. Let us see some of the quasi-judicial bodies, because there are questions whether they're asking whether they are quasi-judicial or not. For example, Election Commission of India under Article 324, it's a constitutional body, you know it, and it's a constitutional body, and it's quasi-judicial also. Why it's quasi-judicial? Because Election Commission of India can settle disputes over symbols. So, yes, you're right. Therefore, it's a quasi-judicial body. It can settle disputes over symbols. We have seen in election topic. Therefore, it is quasi-judicial. What about SEBI? SEBI is also a statutory body. Why SEBI is a statutory body? Because it adjudicates security law violations. Therefore, SEBI is also a quasi-judicial body. What about Press Council of India? Press Council of India is quasi-judicial because it adjudicates complaints against press. Therefore, it's a quasi-judicial body. National Human Rights Commission is quasi-judicial because I have said ki they have power of civil court for inquiries. Right? They have powers similar to civil court for inquiries. Therefore, the NHRC, SHRC, they are also quasi-judicial. What about Information Commission? What is CCI? CCI is a Competition Commission of India. I have not discussed it actually. It is a statutory body established under Competition Act 2002. So CCI is a statutory body. It basically regulates a fair competition in the Indian markets to prevent anti-competitive practices. We have Competition Commission of India. So all this that I am discussing right now, they are statutory bodies only. So are they having quasi-judicial? That's my question. Yes. Why? Because it is adjudicating anti-competitive behavior. Okay, and SEBI and press, SEBI is adjudicating complaints, security law violations, and press is adjudicating complaints against press. What about Consumer Protection Authority? Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA. Um, it is a statutory body, of course. Why is it quasi-judicial? Because it imposes penalties for misleading ads. CCPA matlab Central Consumer Protection Authority, so it's a statutory body, and it's a quasi-judicial in nature because it is adjudicating, matlab it is not it is imposing penalties for misleading ads. Therefore, it is trying to analyze, it is using its own judicial powers to impose penalties for misleading ads. Therefore, Consumer Protection Authorities is a quasi-judicial in nature. What about NGT? NGT is quasi-judicial because it's a green tribunal. Come on, it's tribunal. It has special adjudication related to environmental disputes. Therefore, it's a quasi-judicial. What about administrative tribunals? Yes, they are also quasi-judicial. Fine. I have doubt regarding them, whether they are quasi-judicial or not. Finance Commission. First, let me come to Finance Commission. It is quasi-judicial because it has power of civil court under Code of Civil Procedure 1908, and it can summon witnesses, and it can question public records. Matlab, it can requisite public records. Finance Commission is a quasi-judicial body because it has power of civil court under Code of Civil Procedure 1908 regarding summoning witnesses and requisitioning of public records. Yeah, it can summon witnesses. Therefore, Finance Commission, it has power of civil court. Therefore, Finance Commission is a quasi-judicial. Now, let's see National Commission for SC, ST, OBC. Are they quasi-judicial? They are quasi-judicial because they also have power of civil court. Matlab summoning and discovery of documents. They can also do all these things. SC, ST, OBC also, because they are primarily investigative and advisory in nature, and they have all the powers of civil court, summoning, discovering documents, etc. Therefore, they are also quasi-judicial in nature. Controller and Auditor General technically no, but it has some quasi-judicial aspects. What does he do? He audits accounts. Why am I saying he is quasi-judicial? Why? Because unlike the others, CAG does not typically adjudicate disputes over parties. However, in its role of interpreting rule and statutes during audits, some experts label it as quasi-judicial. But if they are asking me whether it is quasi-judicial in general and technically, no, it is not quasi-judicial. But some experts say that it is somehow functioning as a quasi-judicial while it is trying to analyze audit reports. Some more quasi-judicial bodies that I'm able to think of is Chief Information Commission. It hears appeals under RTI Act. It is hearing appeals, right? Who usually hears appeals? It's a judicial body. But CIC, it is hearing appeals. Therefore, it's also a quasi-judicial body. What about ITAT? Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. If it is a tribunal, it is quasi-judicial. I think that. And what about Intellectual Property Appellate Board? Intellectual Property Appellate Board. It educates. What does it do? Intellectual property matlab it adjudicates copyrights and patent disputes. Therefore, it is also quasi-judicial. There is a banking ombudsman, which resolves complaints between customers and the banks. Banking ombudsman. उसको हम ये बोलते हैं banking ombudsman. It's also quasi-judicial in nature. Even Parliament, when removing a president, they work like a judicial bodies. So Parliament, you can also say it's quasi-judicial. Speaker, while exercising anti-defection law, is also quasi-judicial. Quasi-judicial, mostly, I think answer will be correct only. See, PM is as a chairperson. Chairman, PM, Interstate Council, I remember because the Prime Minister is a chairman for Interstate Council. Niti Aayog also I can remember. National Board of Wildlife, related to wildlife, PM is a chairman. National Integration Council, PM is the chairman for National Integration Council. What is the work of National Integration Council and National Water Resource Council? NDMA, do you remember NDMA? Yeah, NDMA also I can easily remember because I have read just before 2005. NDMA Act 2005, 10 members, Prime Minister plus other members. NDMA also I can remember. Board of Wildlife also I can remember. But Integration Council and Water Resource Council, National Integration Council, it's extra constitutional, and it's also non-statutory, but it's an advisory body, and it is headed by the Prime Minister. Usually, it is to combat evils like communalism, casteism, regionalism, linguism. To combat all such evils, we are having National Integration Council. It was first constituted in 1961, headed by the Jawaharlal Nehru. This is about National Integration Council. And National Water Resource Council, if you are asking, it's its fundamental function is to oversee and ensure effective management of water resources across the country, and the primary role include laying down the national water policy and renewing it periodically. Now it is under Ministry of Jal Shakti. Okay, and it is headed by the Prime Minister. And Department of Space, it's under direct control of Prime Minister. Political, Economical and Appointments Committee, ACC. Political Affairs Committee, Economic Affairs Committee and ACC, Appointment Committee of Cabinet, all three of them are also chaired by the Prime Minister. Here there are some more bodies. Let's try to remember. Niti Aayog Prime Minister, NDMA Prime Minister, CSIR Prime Minister. What is CSIR? CSIR is a Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. The third one, it's a Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Uh, It is basically India's largest research and development organization, established in 1942. Leave all that. But anyways, remember that Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, it is headed by the Prime Minister, and there is a Central Hindi Committee headed by the Prime Minister. The Vice Chairman of CSIR is who Minister of Science and Technology, I guess. I don't remember, but I think it's Union Minister of Science and Technology is the Vice President, and the President of a CSIR is Prime Minister. And there is a Central Hindi Committee. It is the highest government body responsible for providing guidelines regarding promotion and progression of Hindi for the official purposes. And it is headed by the Prime Minister, and the Deputy Chairman would be Union Home Minister, and it consists of almost 41 members. One National Ganga Council headed by the Prime Minister. National Board of Wildlife headed by the Prime Minister, and Vice Chairman is Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. What about a Standing Committee of National Board of Wildlife? National Board Standing Committee, it's different from NBWL. Standing Committee of NBWL, the chairman is Minister of Environment and Forest and Climate Change. Okay, if it mentions about Standing Committee of NBWL, it's Minister of Environment Forest. But if it mentions about NBWL, just National Board of Wildlife, then Prime Minister is the chairman, and the Vice Chairman would be Minister of Environment and Forest. And what about NTCA? What is NTCA? Of I already said you, it's National Turmeric Board. Okay, नहीं turmeric नहीं है. NTCA मतलब National Tiger Conservation Authority. Yeah, Tiger Conservation Authority. It is also chairman would be Minister of Environment and Finance and Climate Change, not the Prime Minister. Okay, tigers के related है Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Okay, next Defense Acquisition Council. Defense है तो Defense Minister होगा. FSDC. FSDC से पता चल रहा है ना, Financial Stability and Development Council. It was actually established in 2010. Anyways, it's a non-statutory body. It's created by an executive order, and it is headed by the Finance Minister. It was formed based on the Raghuram Rajan Committee in 2008, and it is headed by Union Finance Minister. Island Development Agency, Home Minister. See, Home Minister, we are having a very few committees. One thing I would recall is the Zonal Council, National Investigating Agency, National Human Rights Committee, Information Bureau. All of them are headed by Ministry of Home Affairs. Right? They come under Ministry of Home Affairs. And Island Development Agency, it is headed by the Home Minister. National Productivity Council, National Productivity Council, Minister of Commerce and Industry. Productivity है तो commerce है ना, तो Minister of Commerce and Industry minister would be the chairman. National Startup Advisory. Startup also comes under Ministry of. See, there's a trick. Do you remember? Startup comes under Ministry of Commerce. MSME comes under Ministry of MSME. Startup and MSME, they are different, and startup comes under Ministry of Commerce, and MSME comes under Ministry of MSME only, and automobile, it comes under Ministry of Heavy Industries. Now I am saying National Startup Advisory Council. Chairperson would be Minister of Commerce and Industry. Advisory Committee on Saraswati River. Okay, River Culture Minister would be the chairman. District Development Coordination and Monitoring Committee. What is this District Development Coordination? Okay, leave it. Just leave it. I don't want to study also. National Security Council Secretariat. Okay, let's see. First, let's see the Defense Planning Committee. Defense Planning Committee, it is established by the Ministry of Defense. Okay, and currently the chairman is Ajit Doval. Ajit Doval. Who is Ajit Doval? He is a National Security Advisor, right? Usually, National Security Advisor is the one who is going to be the chairman. So, chairman of Defense Planning Committee is National Security Advisor. And National Council on Nutrition. National Council on Nutrition, it's an apex body responsible for monitoring nutritional schemes in India under Poshan Abhiyan, National Nutrition Mission. And the vice chairman, the vice chairman of Niti Aayog is going to be the chairman of National Commission on Nutrition. Got it? National Security Council Secretariat is nothing but executive arm of National Security Council only. It serves as a core body for strategic planning and interministerial coordination on national security matters. And currently, the head of National Security Council Secretariat is a National Security Advisor. I'm just going through them. One time reading. Okay. What's next? Core group of secretaries on disinvestment. Currently, its chairman is Cabinet Secretary T.V. Somanathan. He is the chairman of core group of secretaries on disinvestment. So its function is like it is responsible for decision-making process related to strategic disinvestment and asset monetization, and it processes recommendations of Niti Aayog before they are sent to Cabinet Committee of Economic Affairs. Okay, it processes information. This is a core group of secretary on investment or disinvestment. National Crisis Management Committee. It is also headed by Cabinet Secretary. Currently, it is T.V. Somanathan, and this body is responsible for disaster management at national level, National Crisis Management Committee, and it coordinates the response to major national or man-made disasters. They can be due to release of atomic, release leakage of some gas, whatever disaster it may be, it is headed by cabinet secretary. What about National Committee on Trade Facilitation? It is headed by the cabinet secretary, trade facilitation also. Okay, and yeah, currently chairman is TV Somanathan. Matlab, it usually it is established under World Trade Organization, TFA, Trade Facilitation Agreement, to reduce our trade cost and to improve business. There is this National Committee on Trade Facilitation. What's next? Biofuel Steering Committee. Biofuel Steering Committee provides effective guidance on implementation of national policy on biofuels on regular basis. It is the chairman of Biofuel Steering Committee is also cabinet secretary. Okay. Last but not least, we are having no, we are still having some more committees. What are they? Oh, we are still having a National Executive Committee on Disaster Management. It's an executive arm of Disaster Management Authority only. National Executive Committee on Disaster Management. It's an executive arm of a Disaster Management Authority and is responsible for implementing national policies and plans for disaster management. And currently, Union Home Minister. Union Home Minister, nahi, Home Secretary. Home Secretary is the ex-officio chairman of National Executive Committee on Disaster Management. Okay, National Clean Development Mechanism Authority. Okay, it is the host country. It comes under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and currently the Secretary of Ministry of Environment, Tanmay Kumar, he is dealing with National Clean Development Mechanism Authority. Basically, what it does, it evaluates and approves projects that aim to reduce greenhouse gas emission for promoting sustainable development in India. Okay. It comes under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. इसको ये भी बोलते हैं कि होस्ट कंट्री अप्रूवल बॉडी फॉर क्लीन डेवलपमेंट मैकेनिज्म प्रोजेक्ट्स, CDM projects under Kyoto Protocol. NCDMA is host country approval body for clean development mechanism. That means CDM projects under Kyoto Protocol. That is a National Clean Development CDM Authority, National CDM Authority. What about next? National Commission for Minority Education Institutions. Currently there is no chairperson for this, but anyways, High Court judge is going to be the chairman of National Commission for Minority Education Institutions. Okay, it basically advises the government on minority education matters and has the powers to decide the minority status of educational institutions. National Commission for Minority Education Institutions. And last but not least, Law Commission. Law Commission is currently tasked with reviewing the Uniform Civil Code and identifying laws that hinder economic growth. So basically, it is currently tasked with reviewing UCC, Uniform Civil Code, and the chairman is former Supreme Court Judge or Chief Justice of High Court. It's currently Dinesh Maheshwari. Don't remember also. Anyways, it is a non-statutory body. Just remember Prime Ministers. Okay, Niti Aayog, National Disaster Management Authority, CSIR. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Central Hindi Committee, National Ganga Council, National Board of Wildlife, Standing Committee of NBWL, not Prime Minister. That's all. Thank you very much.